Is in, right arm over the wicket. Maxwell tucks it around off his heels. They're looking for two. They'll just take the one. They ran the one with purpose. Maxwell's up to 20. Fletcher's on 41.
Now, Worrell generally bowls up front when the ball is swinging. They're holding. He's got 2 overs. This is his 3rd over. So 2 overs to complete. And bowling in a different phase in the middle overs. Over number 13 now.
Fletcher on strike. Worrell is in. And Fletcher is trying to cut that one behind point. Slight misfield. They went for the run. They decided against it. The throw came in, went past the pitch and then into the leg side where they do take the overthrow single. Just a moment's hesitation from all parties.
Well, he would have been out. They were both stranded in the middle. It was a yes, there was a misfield. Oh, yes, they'll call. No. The throw went, it was wide. And because all the fielders on the onside, deep fine leg, deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, deep mid-on, there was an easy single and they high-fived on the way through.
Maxwell is facing. Didn't connect it. Worrell went sprawling out to his left to try and stop it. It's actually carried all the way through. That is a 4 for Glenn Maxwell. Initially didn't look like he hit it with that much power, but it just rolled on through into the outfield and the fielders were far enough away that they couldn't get there. That's a 4 for the skipper.
Yeah, it's a tough one. He's got mid-off up inside the circle. So the fielder's in the circle and mid-off cover. The backward point and the third man is up inside the circle. So fine leg back, mid-off, he'll keep targeting that area.
And now he's gone over the top. A big shot from Maxwell that drops safely into the offside. The two fielders coming in from the ring and the rope and meeting at the true cover points. And he survives.
Well, he kept targeting it. He knew, even though it was going to be a short ball, he wanted to hit it over mid-off. That's enticing. Short boundary with a fielder up inside the circle. They'll attack that every time. Fell safely. A bit fortunate in the end. Lacked a bit of control with that shot.
Worrell to Fletcher, who is pulling this one into square leg straight to the fielder. And they amble through for one. Who are the wicket-taking bowlers here for the Adelaide Strikers? With no Peter Siddle and no Rashid Khan, who are you relying on to be your strike weapon?
Well, I'm sure they were hoping to get a wicket from O'Connor. He's got another over to come. His last over went for 11. So they've lined him up a bit. Briggs will come back on, and Briggs, through tight bowling, may be able to get the breakthrough.
Last ball of the over for Worrell. Maxwell facing, slices off the face of the bat through the cover. And they'll just get the single into the gap in the ring, and the fielder on the rope. So Maxwell 26, Fletcher 43. It's the Melbourne Stars 1 for 90.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
0433 98 11 16 is the Big Bash Nation text line. Danny Briggs has been brought back into the attack to bowl. He's been swung into the members' end, starting with a 2-run shot here from Glenn Maxwell. Clipped it into the leg side and they got back for an easy 2.
So difficult to protect out there. Big, vast, open spaces. Are comfortable too. They really just trotted their way through. The fielders did everything they could. It's nearly a expectation that it'll just happen.
50-run partnership comes up as Maxwell is swatting that one down through fine leg and getting the boundary. There was a delivery that went tailing down the leg side past his heels, and he's followed the bat through it, and almost like a paddleboarder, he's rode it back behind fine leg, and he's got the boundary for the TAC. Glenn Maxwell, don't let your luck run out, TAC.
Session Tendulkar expertly played that shot many years ago, 25 years ago. It's a bit of a stand-up, fine sweep shot, bit of a slap, as you said. And he gets 4 runs, so a good start to the over. 6 off the first couple of balls. Little delay as Fletcher does up his shoelaces. He's running pretty quick.
Gets himself all strapped up again, Fletcher. That one's down the leg side from Briggs, hoping that Maxwell would chase something, but he left it. That's a wide. Sound effects guys around the Big Bash.
Yeah, I love it too much.
I mean, brutal. That's a single this time for Maxwell. They want to take on the fielder. They will. Fletcher sprints back, and they get back as the throw was wayward coming back into the bowler's end. And that's a well-run too.
Fletcher was spinning his wheels there a couple of times. He took off, and as he was turning, he was on the wicket. Maybe the wicket is that hard that the spikes aren't going in.
1 for 99 the score as Maxwell wants to reverse slog that, and he's missed it through to the keeper. There is open space behind points. There's a short third man, backward point, and then no one on the rope.
Not called either. That was outside the blue line, even though it was a reverse sweep. That's quite remarkable. I know if you do that and it goes a different direction, you open up both wides, but that was definitely wider than the blue line. Generous by Sean Craig.
This one's on the stumps this time from Briggs, and it is going to be 2. Fletcher was quick off the mark. The throw's coming to the batter's end, but Maxwell gets back there with extra distance to travel. It brings up the 100 total for the Melbourne Stars. 1 for 101. And with this pair set at 50 or 60 runs now, the partnership is worth. You wonder when they take the power play. Last ball to come here for Briggs. Bowling Maxwell, tucking it into square leg. They'll get another single. So it's plenty of 1s and 2s. They're just dotted in between with a couple of boundaries here and there. Hasn't been the big heavy hitting that the Melbourne Stars have made their trademark in the last 2 or 3 seasons. At the end of the 14th over, it is 1 for 102.
Red Energy is 100% owned by the mighty Snowy Hydro, and that makes us as Aussie as a barbie at Eastern Beach. We're based right here in Victoria and have been providing electricity and gas to tens of thousands of homes in Geelong for years. So if you want an energy company that's 100% Australian owned, supports Aussie jobs and is committed to supporting the economy, call our Victorian-based contact centre on 131 806 to make the switch today.
Big Bash Nation, 0433 98 11 16 off the text line if you want to send us a message throughout the evening. Bryce McGain is our expert for Western Union. Another fast delivery by Western Union. Send money overseas with their app. Jordan Canellis with you from the MCG. Cam Valenti bowling here to Maxwell, who has started by going high and long down the ground, and it should be caught, and it is. Matt Renshaw on the rope, straight down at long on, takes it over his heads. And Glenn Maxwell has to go, departing for 37. And just when you thought the power surge might have been taken with the set pair in, they decided against it. And now a new batsman out into the middle. Melbourne Stars are 2 wickets down.
Maybe a missed opportunity. You hinted at it with that power surge available to them. Could have brought the field up for that over, and they've kept it up their sleeve. Glenn Maxwell, he's a smart cricketer in the manner that he knows how to tactically play the game. So who are we to question him? He wanted to go another over, but he's now on his way. The firepower goes. Hilton Cartwright has been bumped up the order, and maybe it is because he, right from the ball one, is looking to go.
So they've shuffled the batting lineup around a lot, not only tonight, but this season. Dave Hussey's done that quite often, the coach for the Melbourne Stars. So Larkin waits a little longer, and Cartwright is up a few places. And so Glenn Maxwell's out, and now new questions get asked of this power surge when it happens. Caught Renshaw, bowled Valenti for 37 runs. Glenn Maxwell goes.
37 off 28. So he did catch it up. He was a little slow early. Stoinis, however, did not catch it up. He was 13 off 26.
Valenti, right arm over the wicket to Fletcher. The last pair crossed. Fletcher starts by pulling this one into cow corner. They want to. Cartwright abides by Fletcher's demands and gets the 2.
And Hilton Cartwright is lightning quick. So they will be looking to keep those 2s coming. since that 10th over, they have been going at over 10 and over without too many risks, a couple of a boundary, and then they're looking to knock those twos in there. And that's the way to attack at the MCG. You keep trying to hit sixes, you're going to get caught.
Valenti into Fletcher, tucked away into the leg side, into the vast open space through mid-wicket, and this will be a 2 as well. And come back for the double. Fletcher's up to 47 now.
Who says cricketers aren't fit? This is just repeat after repeat, effort, run, hit it in there, the skill, under fatigue, good control. This is the way to up the score.
Fletcher not far off his 50. He's on 47. Valenti is bowling. And there'll be a single here. Valenti went to do his own fielding and then ran to Cartwright, which allowed the easier run for the single.
Does anyone else think of Seinfeld when they say Cartwright? At the restaurant? Call for the Cartwright 4. I do.
I've watched a bit of Seinfeld, but not that much. But I'll trust
maybe it's just me. Maybe on the SMS they might bit of support, please. Don't want to be out on a limb here completely. Jordan's fresh aired me there. Mid-off is up, so there's a short boundary. Cartwright for his first ball.
Valenti is into Cartwright, who starts with a shot that goes to backward point and stopped by the fielder. Dot ball for Cartwright to begin.
Yeah, attacking the off stump. Good bowling by Valenti. Just at about 130 k's an hour. So he's not express, but there's still a place for that medium pacer, particularly one as accurate as Valenti. He's a genuine all-rounder as well. Good with the bat. They do make the change now. Yeah, that's nervous with your mid-off inside the circle to that short boundary. Third man comes up, mid-off goes back.
Valenti to Cartwright, who pokes it into the covers and will get the 1. Looks back at each other for the second, but there were fielders coming together in that part of the ground, so they decided against it. Cartwright's off the mark. Valenti finishes his night with figures of 1 for 36, and after 15 overs, the Stars are 2 for 108.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
Still no power surge. We're about to start the 16th over here.
No surge
at the MCG.
Well, we've got one in the box with us. He's looking after us.
We do.
Yeah, we have our own surge. We have a power surge for the whole night.
Surge with us, helping us out at the back of the box at the MCG. Liam O'Connor about to bowl. Leg break over the wicket. Leaving it late was Cartwright, playing that late cut through point. And a single. 2 for 108. Plenty of wickets still in the shed, Bryce. When do they start really going the tonk?
Now.
They have to. 4 overs to go.
Well, they're doing it the right way. Getting a boundary 6 or a 4 and then attacking with 2s.
5, 4 and a bit, I should say. A glance through square leg for Fletcher. Goes to 49. Still got Larkin, Maddinson as well, who's back in the team now as of their last game. Seb Gotch after that. All can swing the willow. O'Connor is in. That one, who is trying to pummel that back down the ground, Cartwright, and ends up skidding off the bottom edge of his bat and into his pads for a dot ball.
Yeah, O'Connor's a different type of leggy. He's bowled mostly leggies and sliders, quicker balls out the front of the hand, which are tending to skid through a bit.
O'Connor bowling and Cartwright again trying to heave it, and he's missed it. Slaps into the gloves of Alex Carey.
All his body weight there. He's trying to hit so hard. All his body weight's going to the onside, and he's trying to hit it through the offside. So trying to really savage that cut shot. Couple of good dots here. Good bowling by O'Connor.
He's in. Cartwright this time makes connection. It flies through the air down to wide long on. He came around on the rope to do the fielding. Just a single. When
3 singles so far. Last ball of the over. Important delivery, this one.
I'll ask him in the next over about heaving the ball. O'Connor bowling, pushing Fletcher back into his crease, who gets the single. And Andre Fletcher, he brings up his 50. Well, he's a long way past his previous high score of 18 in this BBL 10 competition. This is the first meaningful innings he's had, really, in BBL 10 this season for the Melbourne Stars. Opening the batting, he's up to 50. He got there off 36 deliveries, and at the end of the over, it is the Stars 2 for 112.
IMAR. We all know they're the tradies mates when it comes to business insurance. But did you know that IMAR has window cleaners covered too? Insure your window cleaning business with IMAR and receive commercial and industrial cover for 2-storey, 5-storey and no height restrictions. Plus, receive competitive monthly premiums at no additional cost. Just a simple phone call and we'll get you covered too. Call 13-IMAR now. That's 134627.
They're the tradies mate. That's IMAR.
Big Bash Nation from the MCG. Jordan Canellis and Bryce McGain with you. The rain has stayed away, thankfully. There is a big charcoal grey cloud overhead floating by, but not dropping anything on us. The sun fading behind the Ponsford stand is just painting one side of those clouds golden. And the power surge has been activated. So now all the fielders come in, and they'll have 2 overs here. Fletcher and Cartwright to really go heave-ho. Wes Agar is bowling. Right arm over. Fletcher starts with a glance into the leg side. The 2 fielders who are in the outfield come together to stop it, and they come back for 2.
And that's exactly where Agar wants the ball to be hit, to those 2 sweepers out there to stop the boundary. Perfect from ball 1, even though it did go for 2 runs. They would rather that than giving any width and been blasted through the offside. Ring of 5 on the offside. Fine leg and a mid-on. And then those 2 fielders out deep, backward square, deep mid-wicket.
Agar into Fletcher, who starts with a big shot into the leg side, into cow corner. He blasted that one down to the boundary for 4. Andre Fletcher, he's reached his 50, and now he's going to open up in the power surge.
Well, this is what we've been waiting for all season. It's taken us a while to adjust. But now he's settled into his, temporary home. He knows he's going to be here for a little while, 5 more games. And he loves the MCG. 56 now off 38. He's the key player. Agar
into Fletcher again. And this time he crunches it down the ground. It's a flat 6 straight into the advertising hoardings. A huge 6 for Andre Fletcher, exhibiting all of his power.
Was so flat that I reckon it parted Wes Agar's hair on the way through in his follow-through and kept going for 6. He has just smoked that down the ground. Extraordinary shot. And they are looking to target straight. So difficult to defend that area. Now, as soon as he gets a bit shorter, though, you do have the bit of width to step back and put it over point, over gully. You've got to be careful.
Quick chat with Dan Worrell, and Agar is in again, and this time it's a full delivery, comes off the toe of the bat. It's a French cut, it's 4. Andre Fletcher is hitting them, whether he means it or not, to all parts of the ground.
Well, this is how to power surge. 16 off 4 balls, and they're away. The Stars are flying now. Sixers have got to hold on. Thanks for your support off the SMS as well. Seinfeld, yes. Cartwright, it was the Seinfeld 4. Thank you. Another from Richie. Cartwright family from Bonanza. Exactly. The Ponderosa in Bonanza. Thanks, Richie.
2 for 128 the score. Andre Fletcher now opening up in the power surge. And this time he tries to flick it again. He stamps his feet. He jumps like a petulant child into his batting crease because it hit short fine leg fielder and it's a dot ball.
He whipped it away, the Yorker, and it went that quick. It was outrageous and just went straight to that short fine. And you're right, he stamped his feet on the wicket. Wonder what if Steve Smith had done that, what it would have meant around the world. Cheerio to everyone out there.
He's on 66, Andre Fletcher. Facing again, where's Agar? This time he makes a connection. He squeezes it past short fine leg. He doesn't beat the sweeper on the leg side, though. coming around. And they get 2.
The Spiceman has heated up now. Good over. Good start to the power surge.
Very good over. And as it finishes, there's just a bit of a drizzle coming down now. 2 for 130.
If you love racing, you'll love SEN Track. Start your day with us, Ian Healy and Pat Welsh, and catch up on all the latest in chasing, pacing and racing. Join us on SEN Track Ingham 96.1 FM, Atherton 99.1 FM, and the all-new Gold Coast 1620 AM, and Brisbane 1053 AM.
It's the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Join in all the fun on SEN Track.
SEN Track.
Also available on the SEN app.
2 for 130, 18 runs off the last over. Andre Fletcher is up to 68.
Dan Worrell now taking on the role of Peter Siddle. Peter Siddle would normally bowl in the power surge. Dan Worrell's got that responsibility. So they mix and match the roles to suit. Again, same field here. Ring of 5 on the offside.
Right arm over from Worrell, bowling full delivery. Yorker for Cartwright, who digs it out and gets a single to bring Andre Fletcher back on strike. Alex Carey's come sprinting down the wicket to chat with Worrell. There's a bit of drizzle overhead, but it's only very light. A couple of fans have made their ways back up the aisles to protect themselves, but we can, behind this rain cloud, we can immediately see bright blue skies, so I think the umpires will just tough it out.
It's just one big dark cell, isn't it? And behind it is the sunset, which looks like an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
And this dark cell of rain just coming across to just drizzle. I'm sure maybe 5 kilometres south, it might be a bit heavier. Over maybe South Yarra, that sort of region, over the Yarra. But just here, just a bit of drizzle on the edge of it. Now, change of field. Another fielder comes onto the onside. It's a mid-wicket. A ring of 4 on the offside. Mid-on, mid-wicket. Short fine leg. The fielder's out. Deep backward square leg and deep square leg. Expect a short ball.
Worrell bowling, and that one is punched back down the ground by Fletcher. He didn't move. He didn't bother running. He saw that one piercing the straight boundary. That's a 4 for the West Indian Spiceman.
Just a short arm jab to get it down the ground. Fast bat speed. He really slaps the ball. Looking for the Yorker, so that ball gets hit. The leg stump Yorker. Spiceman was up to it. Gave him, shimmied away and just slapped it down the ground.
In again, Worrell. This one is straight into mid-on. Didn't quite connect as well as he would have liked that time. Dot ball. He's up to 72 now off 43. Andre Fletcher, showing us what he really is made of. We haven't seen it really at all.
No, he's striking at 167 for those that didn't bother to do the quick maths. Don't expect you to. We'll help you with it.
Worrell bowling, right arm over, shorter delivery. He's had a tickle at it, but it didn't catch the top edge as he tried to uppercut that over points. Alex Carey claims it behind the stumps. Fletcher is safe. In this innings, he's also passed his 5,000th career T20 run. Andre Fletcher.
Feedback off the SMS just around the rain. It's pouring down in Geelong. Ooh. That's from Robin Torquay. How does he know it's raining in Geelong? He's in Torquay.
This time it's a cover slap from Andre Fletcher. Through extra cover, down to the rope again for 4. That's another powerful shot from Andre Fletcher. He's now up to 76 runs.
Rob, we appreciate the feedback, and it is good to know because that's where the weather is coming from, so I am being a bit cheeky there. Terrific shot, the Spiceman. This is how to power surge. You hit boundaries, you get going. Good bowling by Worrell, but he's got away now.
Right arm over, and it's a full toss. Fletcher connects. Wow. It's high, it's long, it's into the stands. The biggest 6 of the night off the bat of Andre Fletcher. He has walloped that into the members. Phenomenal over again from Andre Fletcher, and the pyrotechnics to suit appropriately at the end of the 18th over. The Melbourne Stars are 2 for 145.
Real adventures with Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Everything fishing, boating and outdoors.
I'm just astonished how many people are still using the wrong burley cages, Pat. You need to get your cages down to the bottom for the whiting. Look at the design of a whiting's face. They're shaped so their mouth turns in underneath their jaw and they feed hard on the bottom. So where are they going to be? They're going to be on the bottom.
Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Subscribe and listen today wherever you get your podcasts.
The Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts' power surge, and the Melbourne Stars made full use of it, scoring 18 and 15. 33 runs off those 2 overs for Dulux. Professional painters choose Dulux.
Key moment, those 2 overs. 33 at 16 and a half. That's how to do a power surge. A little slow in the power play, just the 23 runs early.
Off the replay for Rappuccini will keep you moving. Another no-look 6 from Andre Fletcher. No follow-through either. Barely any backlift, barely any follow-through. It was just a short punch, almost like a 1-inch punch, but in the batting equivalent. And he didn't look at it. Eyes firmly fixated on the ground. Hilton Cartwright now is pulling this one into the leg side. Fielders come together. They stop it on the deep mid-wicket rope. And it's going to be 2 for Hilton Cartwright, with Wes Agar bowling this over, his last. Game is certainly increased in the tempo now after that power surge. 10.2 is the run rate from the last 5 overs for Dulux. Professional painters choose Dulux. Agar bowling to Cartwright. Right arm over. Jammed him up. He's dug it out. Fletcher was ready to sprint away, but Cartwright bellowed back at him, no.
That is the perfect Yorker. And Fletcher, he wants a piece of anyone who's bowling. A piece of everyone. He's had an amazing innings here and an incredible power surge.
The rain has stopped. Dark cloud hangs overhead, probably darker than before, but no rain. Agar is in again. Short delivery that time, and it bounces over the right shoulder of Hilton Cartwright. And we wait. No signal from the umpire, apart from the over-the-shoulder quota. No wide.
Generous. Thought it was down leg side. So did Hilton Cartwright. He stood there.
Over his head.
He just asked for consistency, that's all.
Fair enough. Agar bowling again. Fuller this time. That's a heavy hit from Cartwright. He has powered that down the grounds.
Ooh.
A full muscled shot right into the back of the covers behind the sight screen. That's an almighty shot from Hilton Cartwright.
Now, that was just probably about a metre or 2 under the second deck at the MCG. That's going to be all of 100 metres. That is how to launch it down the ground. And they've back-ended this one nicely, the Stars. They're well on track with... how many balls to go now? 8 balls to go. Look, they're well on track. They may get around maybe around 170. From where they were at the halfway point at 57, they would be very pleased.
Absolutely teed off on that shot, Hilton Cartwright. They've got the ball back now. Agar is in again. Cartwright wants a bit more into the leg side this time, and he has connected again. Backwards square leg over his heads and into the stands. Back-to-back 6s for Hilton Cartwright. He is crushing them around the MCG.
Reckon Dave Hussey has pulled the right string to put him up the order?
I think so.
You bet he has. Great support effort for the Spice Man, Andre Fletcher. He's on 82 of 47 balls, and now Hilton Cartwright unleashing a couple of 6s in a row. They might get a bit beyond the 170, and if they do, they are in the box seat.
This has been a superb acceleration from the Melbourne Stars, who are ticking along at a pretty leisurely rate up to the 10-over mark. 1 for 57, so 58 will be the bash boost target for the bonus point for the strikers. But after that, they really let fly.
He's got a beautiful sounding bat. The Bradbury. Put that on your list of ones to request next Christmas, kids.
Cartwright is 18 off 12 with back-to-back sixes. Last ball for Wes Agar, and Cartwright this time a little low along the ground. It's driven into cow corner, and that is a 4. It's a 4 which rifled along the MCG green. 2 sixes and a 4 to end the over for Hilton Cartwright, who went berserk in the 19th. At the end of it, it's 2 for 163.
Hi, it's Doug the Tradie. If you're a tradie like me, you need the correct insurance. It's easy with IMAR. They offer competitive premiums, instant cover and no paperwork. Go online, get an instant quote and pay the premium, or call an expert now on 13IMAR. You'll be covered in a few simple steps and ready to get on with the job. Visit imar.com.au today or call 13IMAR and get a quote, get covered, get working.
Now the trade is made. That's IMAR.
18 runs off the last over. All the stats for Dulux. Professional painters choose Dulux.
And that leaves Briggs to bowl the final over.
Reckon they'll attack him.
I reckon they might. 18 for 100 for the Spice Man. Will he get it?
He's within touch. Andre Fletcher. Briggs is in. Oh, Fletcher, you went to heave it. And comes slicing off the face of the bat and rolls down to Worrell up off the rope at long off for a single.
Got the full toss.
Yeah.
He didn't even need to look last time, and he hit it for 6. That one he spliced away. Briggs again with the sneako.
Cartwright's brushing some of the debris out from his crease. Briggs is in, and it's been missed by Cartwright and by Carey. It'll run down behind the wicketkeeper onto the logos on the grounds, and it will end up being a couple of byes there. They come back for 2.
Oh, no, a little inside edge called by
there was.
Craig. Little inside edge, maybe onto the shoe.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward one. Giving it runs.
Came dancing down the wicket as well.
4 balls to go.
Briggs is in. That is clubbed back past the bowler, and that's a 4. Right back down the ground, Hilton Cartwright. He just stood and swung like a slugger in the major leagues. Back down the ground for a boundary. Don't let your luck run out, TAC.
Don't forget, a few years ago he was in the Australian setup. Highly touted Australian cricketer. He can launch it.
Briggs is in. He has launched it into the leg side. Didn't quite get the connection, and it's dropped. At square leg, it was just falling short. And Gibson was the man out there to take the forward diving catch, but it's just actually bounced a foot short of him. So he got lucky. Hilton Cartwright that time. They ran 2.
So Fletcher won't get the opportunity to get to his 100.
Cartwright again facing. That one's down leg side. And a short fine leg just squeezed away for a single.
Well bowled, leg buys. He's got the pad. Last ball.
2 for 172. Fletcher on 83. Cartwright will finish on 30. Last ball of the innings. Briggs bowls the full toss, and Fletcher, he says, thank you. Right down the grounds to end the innings with a bang. And it's a 6. It's a powerfully swatted 6. They finish their innings emphatically, the Melbourne Stars. They added 122 off the last 10 overs, and they went swinging for the hills. They were asking for it at the start of the match, but decided to stay in there and play it patient, the Melbourne Stars. They still had plenty of wickets in the bank by the end of it. And after 20 overs, the Melbourne Stars finished with a total of 2 for 179. So 180 is the target for the Adelaide Strikers. And Andre Fletcher, after a string of really, I guess, disappointing innings, to say the least, for a man who had been highly touted coming into the BBL, this time he has fulfilled his promise of big hitting. He finishes with 89 to be the highest run scorer. Hilton Cartwright with 31 as well. Glenn Maxwell contributed with 37 earlier in the night. And Andre Fletcher comes off, raises his bat to the crowds. A bit demurely, actually looks a bit sheepish beneath all of the swagger. He's a modest man, it appears.
Well,
comes off to a couple of hugs, and 89 his score.
Yeah, look, I think it's probably just the frustration it hadn't come, and just a big hug there. I think it's Glenn Maxwell just knew that they had enormous amount of faith in what he could do, and he's delivered here. 179 is an enormous score. As you mentioned, last 10 overs, 122. Talk about back-ending it. It does help with a power surge. They got 33 runs there, and that has just catapulted them to a score that is above par here at the MCG. 180. It's an absolute superb batting performance in the end. They were slow off the first 10, so they may not get the maximum points. You can imagine the strikers picking up a runner ball to get that target of 58 in the first 10 for the Bash boost point. But I can tell you now, tracking down the second half is going to be very difficult. 180, a mighty score posted by the Melbourne Stars at home.
The play of the day for Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. What was the play of the day, Bryce, from that first innings?
Well, the play of the day, we might have to take it to the last ball, the 6 off the last ball. Play of the day, it's right there. Can we get it above 170? Yeah, we can. We can nearly get it to 180. And play of the day, well, we're going to go to the run scorer, but the play of the day, that's 6 off the last ball, Andre Fletcher. Sensational batting.
The leading wicket taker from the first innings, Henley Holmes, transparent pricing, no spin. Just one apiece for Danny Briggs and for Cam Valenti, who took the wickets of Marcus Stoinis and Glenn Maxwell, respectively. So only 2 wickets lost for the innings for the Melbourne Stars. They'll be incredibly pleased with that. Dave Hussey will be especially.
Yeah, will be indeed. Yeah, just losing the 2 wickets, and that allows you to really back end and accelerate. They weren't losing wickets through that tail end phase, and they played the ground really well. It was a good strategic innings to be able to do it, in that they didn't try and just belt every ball out of the park. That's where you do lose wickets here at the MCG. They worked the ball for 2s. They kept going and accelerating. It was 10 and over, 10 and over, 10 and over in that last back end, and then they were able to really chase it down off the last 4. Explosive hitting.
The leading run scorer for the first innings for Henley Holmes, batting for first home buy since 1989, clearly was Andre Fletcher. He had 89 of 49 deliveries, going at a strike rate of 181.6. He had 8 fours and 4 sixes for the night, which was phenomenal hitting. He had 3 fours in the first couple of overs when he was the only one who found the boundary in the opening power play, and then added a couple of sixes, some big hitting sixes towards the end. Hilton Cartwright had 2 fours and 2 sixes as well. But Andre Fletcher will be the star of this match, at least for the first innings so far. Bryce, he's the Henley Holmes leading run scorer.
Yeah, yes, and it was a tremendous innings. And backed up, Hilton Cartwright really back-ended it as well. It took him a little while to get going, but when it was time to just hit, strike rate of 176 for that 30 off 17 balls. Terrific stuff by the Stars.
The MEGT rookie, MEGT, or local apprenticeship experts. I guess Andre Fletcher qualifies as a rookie because he's a first-year player.
We'll give him that.
He's 33 years old, though, so not a rookie by age, but he qualifies.
He qualifies, yeah, and he gets it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Top innings.
MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. Call 13-MEGT today. The Maccas moment of the first innings. The McCriven and Macco are back at Maccas this summer. What was the biggest game-changing moment, do you think, of that first dig?
Well, I think the Macca's moment is probably Stoinis at the top of the order, like really struggling there. Danny Briggs got him out in the 7th over for 13 for the opening batsman off 26 deliveries. He really chewed him up. I guess he just backed his ability to back end the innings, but Briggs picked him up, and it was a good bit of bowling, and Stoinis was on his way.
How pleased, it goes without saying, I guess, how pleased will the Melbourne Stars be with Andre Fletcher and his innings, but how much do you think this can help him now and the Stars in the run into the finals?
Well, I think you could see the embrace from Glenn Maxwell wasn't just a bit of a hug. It was an embrace, a lengthy one, a conversation. It was at least 10 seconds of, mate, we trusted you so much. I know exactly what he would be saying. Thank you, fantastic innings. You've set us up here. We've got enormous belief in you. It was terrific. And I know Dave Hussey, they've spoken really highly, even though they were just little cameos at the start. He always scored off only a handful of balls and handed it over, even though he didn't go on with it. It has been a bit disappointing. He wanted to go on with one, and now he has. And the Melbourne crowd get a chance to see him in full flight, and it's a pretty good sight. How much of an impact do you think playing at home now has for the Melbourne Stars, who knows, might have been fatiguing a bit on the road playing around, and as you said, they were the most travelled team in the Big Bash to this point in the season. Now they get to play pretty much, I think it's just about every game, or almost every game now.
at home in the run home to the season. From 7th on the ladder, we spoke about it in the pre-game, that they're not too far off the top couple, even though they're 7th. The points are close, but this home stretch now for the Stars will be a huge benefit for them. Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all. And they know how to play the ground. The way they set this up was fantastic. Wickets in hand, and the way they ran the twos, they really played the dimensions of the ground perfectly. They attacked it straight. They didn't try and hit sixes square of the wicket. It was only Hilton Cartwright that picked one up that was vaguely square, behind square league it was. But, look, tremendous stuff. 0433 98 11 16 if you want to send in a text on the Big Bash Nation text line. Got a couple of people doing that. Bryce, a lot of people very fond of the Spice Man as well. Yeah, they are. The Spice Man is finally hot. All he needed was a real cricket ground. Well, he's at a real cricket ground here, the MCG. Thanks for that, Mouse. And we like our cricket spicy from Anonymous as well. So, look, there's some good stuff there. I think that someone's looking for a washout. That might be Michael. He might be a Strikers supporter because this has got out of hand for the Strikers. And, gee, they missed Peter Siddle, and, gee, they missed... and it's impossible to replace Rashid Khan. But having said that, Liam O'Connor was absolutely superb. He was the most economical bowler. 4 overs to 26. 6.5 and over was excellent. But Wes Agar and Dan Worrell bowling in the power surge, that they really got some tap later in. So 2 for 179 is the score. Got a performance as well here at the MCG. I've never heard of her. She's big on TikTok apparently. Inoxia is her name. I only found out because of the pre-match briefing that you get given on the website. So she's serenading the crowd with a bit of Fleetwood Mac covers, which is I'm okay with. I'm very comfortable with it. It's been a very nice way to enjoy the break. We might have a break, having said that. Yeah. Does she sound like Stevie Nicks? It does a little bit. Yeah. You could shut your eyes and... I actually thought they were playing it off the iPod through the loudspeaker, but there she is down on the stage singing it. Good on her. So 2 for 179 at the MCG. The Melbourne Stars setting the target for the Adelaide Strikers in the chase of 180. Andre Fletcher finally unleashing. We've been waiting for the Spice Man to go big in the Big Bash, and he did just that with a knock of 89, including 8 fours and 4 sixes. Big Bash Nation will come back after this with the run chase from the Adelaide Strikers.
The SEN Track podcast. Catch up on all your favourite shows or any interviews you might have missed by subscribing to SEN Track on your favourite podcast provider today.
That Pope gonna walk around. That Pope gonna walk around. That Pope gonna walk around. And that's how your garden grows. Pope Garden Watering Systems, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
IMAR. We all know they're the tradies' mates when it comes to business insurance. But did you know that IMAR has window cleaners covered too? Insure your window cleaning business with IMAR and receive commercial and industrial cover for 2-storey, 5-storey and no height restrictions. Plus, receive competitive monthly premiums at no additional cost. Just a simple phone call and we'll get you covered too. Call 13-IMAR now. That's 134627.
They're the tradies, mate. That's IMAR.
Red Energy is 100% owned by the mighty Snowy Hydro, and that makes us as Aussie as a barbie at Eastern Beach. We're based right here in Victoria and have been providing electricity and gas to tens of thousands of homes in Geelong for years. So if you want an energy company that's 100% Australian owned, supports Aussie jobs and is committed to supporting the economy, call our Victorian-based contact centre on 131 806 to make the switch today.
If you love racing, you'll love SEN Track. Start your day with us, Ian Healy and Pat Welsh, and catch up on all the latest in chasing, pacing and racing. Join us on SEN Track Ingham 96.1 FM, Atherton 99.1 FM, and the all-new Gold Coast 1620 AM, and Brisbane 1053 AM.
It's the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Join in all the fun on SEN Track.
SEN Track.
Also available on the SEN app.
SEN Track is the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing. And each Saturday, you're invited to join the Saturday Trackside team. Be part of the banter, the fun and the expert analysis. And of course, there's plenty of tasty horse racing tips.
Get your pens, pencils, crayons and have your form guides be ready.
With Simon O'Donnell, David Taggart and the Saturday Trackside team. Listen via the SEN app and follow the tips via Twitter at SEN_track. Saturday Trackside, this Saturday from midday on SEN Track. The new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Hey, it's Matt McKeldin. And I'm Steve Johnson. And we're the hosts of The Driver's Seat, Australia's #1 motorsport radio show.
Each week we go through all the big news stories and chat to some of the biggest names in supercars.
Here with Mark Winterbottom. We're pumped, ready to go. Davey Reynolds here.
We've got a Sonic the Hedgehog phone cover. It's mad as.
Jamie Whincup, welcome back to The Driver's Seat.
Feels good to be back. Plus you can catch up and get all the exclusive interviews first on the Driver's Seat app.
Get radio's #1 motorsport show on your smartphone. Thanks to Kubota, building Australia.
Real Adventures with Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Everything fishing, boating and outdoors.
I'm just astonished how many people are still using the wrong burley cages, Pat. You need to get your cages down to the bottom for the whiting. Look at the design of a whiting's face. They're shaped so their mouth turns in underneath their jaw and they feed hard on the bottom. So where are they going to be? They're going to be on the bottom.
Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Subscribe and listen today wherever you get your podcasts.
That Pope gonna walk around. That Pope gonna walk around. That Pope gonna walk around. And that's how your garden grows.
Pope Garden Watering Systems, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
You're listening to Big Bash Nation.
Fletcher's in and out over point. That'll run down to the rope. He's had a look over his shoulder. It's just pulling up before the rope, but still carries through. Fletcher smashes that one back past the bowler, over his head, a couple of bounces down to the rope, straight down into the ground with the backdrop of the Great Southern Stand behind that white ball flying through the air. A boundary. Valenti to Fletcher, who opens it up. He's aired it out. There's a fielder out there, but it's just scooted past him. A bounce and through for 4. Briggs will do it again. Thumb around to Stoinis. That's had a full toss. It's slapped back down the ground, and it's caught on the rope. It's caught by Worrell, and Stoinis will have to depart. Connor bowling. Fletcher went to move off the crease, and he sliced it through the air. It'll fall short of the fielder and it will go over the rope. Maxwell, who's pulling this one behind short fine leg and getting a boundary. Valenti is in and Maxwell has slapped that down the ground. The crack rings around the MCG and that has gone rows back into the Great Southern Stands. That's a maximum for Glenn Maxwell. Fletcher's on strike. It's a full delivery and Fletcher attacks it into cow corner and that's a 6. Maxwell is facing. Didn't connect it. Worrell went sprawling out to his left to try and stop it. It's actually carried all the way through. That is a 4 for Glenn Maxwell. Maxwell is swatting that one down through fine leg and getting the boundary. Cam Valenti bowling here to Maxwell, who has started by going high and long down the ground, and it should be caught, and it is. Matt Renshaw on the rope, straight down at long on, takes it over his head. And Glenn Maxwell has to go. O'Connor bowling, pushing Fletcher back into his crease, who gets the single. And Andre Fletcher, he brings up his 50. Well, he's a long way past his previous high score of 18 in this BBL 10 competition. Agar into Fletcher, who starts with a big shot into the leg side, into cow corner. He blasted that one down to the boundary for 4. Agar into Fletcher again. And this time he crunches it down the ground. It's a flat 6 straight into the advertising hoardings. Agar is in again, and this time it's a full delivery. Comes off the toe of the bat. It's a French cut. It's 4. Worrell bowling, and that one is punched back down the ground by Fletcher. He didn't move. He didn't bother running. He saw that one piercing the straight boundary. It's a cover slap from Andre Fletcher through extra cover down to the rope again for 4. Agar bowling again. Fuller this time. That's a heavy hit from Cartwright. He has powered that down the ground. A full muscled shot right into the back of the colours behind the first innings as the Melbourne Stars put 2 for 179 on the scoreboards. And the Adelaide Strikers and the Stars are out there now to begin the run chase. Glenn Maxwell is about to open the bowling here for the Stars at the Great Southern Stand end. Switched on for Fujitsu, Australia's favourite air. Jordan Canellis and Bryce McGain with you as Maxwell bowls. And it's Alex Carey who's opening up here for the Adelaide Strikers. So they're going with a big hitter first up. Phil Salt at the other end. So no Matt Renshaw, as was listed on the team sheet. A dot ball to begin. Maxwell is in again, and Carey is the batsman on strike, who gets a single to start into the leg side. Bryce McGain, our expert for Western Union. Another fast delivery by Western Union. Send money online with their app. Who needs to be the most switched on here in the run chase?
Well, with the move to Alex Carey going to the top, I think it's got to be him. He's got to be the most switched on. The captain taking the responsibility, wicket keeping, and now opening the batting. He wants to face as many balls as he can, and so he does need to be the most switched on player for the strikers.
Experience year-round comfort with Fujitsu, Australia's favourite air. So 180 is the target for the Adelaide strikers. 1 run on the board. Phil Salt now faces his first delivery and begins with a shot into point straight to the fielder.
A ring of 5 in that offside. Mid-on and short fine leg inside the circle on the leg side, and a deep backward square and deep mid-wicket.
Maxwell bowling, and this is Salt's into point again for a dot ball. None for one from the first couple of deliveries so far. Maxwell to bowl his 5th ball. This one's back down the ground, and it is just a crowd catch. Straight back to the bowler.
Good build-up here. He's bowling beautifully. Not much time for the batsman to think. Last ball now.
Maxwell in again, and Salt this time puts it past Maxwell. Oh. And they run. This throw came in from Fletcher, who wanted to run out on top of his 89 from the first innings. Salt got back at the bowler's end, safe and sound. Both batsmen survived the opening over, and after 1, it is none for 2.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
Spin to win tonight for the Melbourne Stars. They're opening up with a couple of spinners. They started with Maxwell. Good first over, none for 2. And we're going to see Zahir Khan, the left arm leggy.
Still got Adam Zampa as well they can use, so they've got plenty of options here. The Melbourne Stars. Zahir Khan. Bowling to Phil Salt, coming left arm over the wicket, and Salt starts by driving that back down the ground. That's a good start from Phil Salt, and he's beaten the fielder as well. It was coming around, thought he had half a chance to get there, the fielder, outside long on, but Salt gets the boundary, and it's a decent start for the English opener. The boundary catching you before your luck's all out, TAC.
Well, very good start. Pumped it down the ground, lofted.
So here he's in again. That one's between the legs of Phil Salt, and it's just gone past leg stump. And Seb Gotch was even fooled by that. Didn't expect to see that coming out from underneath the undercarriage of Phil Salt between the legs.
He's diminutive, Zahir Khan.
Khan is bowling again. Salt wanted to blast that down the ground, and he didn't connect. In this power play, your trusted tyre experts, the opening 4 overs, just 2 fielders allowed outside the inner ring, marked on the ground by white dotted markers. So here he's in. It's a reverse sweep, and it's out. It catches the edge. Zahir Khan is away with the wickets, and Phil Salt has to go. He tried to reverse it to backward points, took a faint edge. Seb Gotch completed the move, and it's a wickets for Scott Pack. Turn unpaid invoices into cash. scottpack.com.au.
A big blow in the second over. The Stars strike. Zahir Khan. That ball spun away. It was a leggy, and it might have got a bit of underside of glove as he stood up to pedal that one. It was a really odd shot, just flapping his hands out. It didn't get down low. You don't reckon that Zahir Khan loved it? He was off. He was like, for those from an AFL background, Paul Callery, tiny little St Kilda player, darting around the MCG. Tony Liberatore, another small AFL player at this ground that would have been zipping around at times, but he was off. As soon as he got that wicket, that's the breakthrough they wanted. Carey's still there. He's on one. Renshaw joins him. So 2 left-handers.
The celebration almost reminded me of another Khan, Rashid.
Yes.
Little wrist spinner flying away after the wicket was taken.
Afghan cricketer.
Yep.
Zahir Khan.
And so indeed Renshaw is out in the middle. Left-hand batsman. Zahir Khan is in. That was right on the pads. Turned away by Renshaw. They'll get one. Renshaw, one of the 2. Carey called no. In the middle of this second over in the power play. Tyre power. Summer scorcher sail. Jordan Canellis and Bryce McGain from the MCG. The first game in Melbourne for BBL 10. 10 more coming up as the schedule is right now. Knock on wood, there's no more fixture changes in BBL 10. Zahir Khan is in to Carey, who's hit it to backward point. Good stop by Andre Fletcher in the ring. And the over ends. Zahir Khan finishes his first over with figures of 1 for 5. Phil Salt the one to go, caught behind for 5 off 8. And after 2 overs, it's 1 for 7.
Red Energy is 100% owned by the mighty Snowy Hydro, and that makes us as Aussie as a barbie at Eastern Beach. We're based right here in Victoria and have been providing electricity and gas to tens of thousands of homes in Geelong for years. So if you want an energy company that's 100% Australian owned, supports Aussie jobs and is committed to supporting the economy, call our Victorian-based contact centre on 131 806 to make the switch today.
Big Bash Nation, Jordan Canellis and Bryce McGain. Game number 40, the Melbourne Stars against the Adelaide Strikers from the MCG. The Stars 2 for 179 in the first innings. Andre Fletcher scoring 89. Glenn Maxwell here bowling as the Strikers are chasing 180 to win. He's thrown it up to Renshaw, who clips it into the leg side for a single to start the third over.
Cartwright's a sweeper out there. And I can tell you now, you do not run on his arm. It is a cannon.
Maxwell bowling. Carey punching it into the covers for a dot ball. Melbourne Stars starting with spinners. Maxwell's are here. Maxwell, the first 3 overs.
Yeah, long off is out and that deep mid-wicket as well. They're the boundary riders.
Maxwell bowling. It's just missed the stumps. Maxwell bowled. It hit the pad of Alex Carey. It spun up in the air. It's landed in front of the stumps and then spun away from the off stump without, however it did or didn't, clip the pole. And now he's bowled him.
Well, that's huge. That is huge.
Now he's bowled him. Alex Carey goes, taken by Glenn Maxwell. Captain to captain, and Maxwell wins.
Sliding in from round the wicket to the left-hander, giving him no room to move. He wanted to go through the offside. Well, it ended up turning to the onside over long on, and that's taken his leg stump. He's missed that by a long way in the end. And desperation stakes now for the Strikers. They need to consolidate. They've got the right man coming to the wicket, Jono Wells. He can do that. But a huge blow. Alex Carey. Australia's own Alex Carey. Out for 1 off 6.
So 2 for 8 is the fall of wicket with 2 balls to come in the over. Glenn Maxwell, so after almost a freak bit of play with a ball spun up off the pad and on its way back down, barely missed the stumps. The ball immediately after.
Well, I think Gotch was in 2 minds with that one, whether to catch it or not.
Yeah.
Because has he got an inside edge? Do I go and catch it or do I just let it go? And he ended up letting it go. And I think Carey might have said to him, I hit that. You could have caught it. Cheekily. And then the next ball, he's on his way.
Alex Carey, so the move didn't work. Jason Gillespie decided to open the batting with Alex Carey and Phil Saltz. And they've both departed for single figures. Saltz, his wicket taken by Zahir Khan for 5 off 8, and Alex Carey bowled by Glenn Maxwell for 1 off 6. And so the new batsman out there, Matt Renshaw, and the newest, Jono Wells. And he's facing Maxwell bowls, and Wells starts by tucking it into the leg side. Wells wanted 2, but they take the 1.
Terrific fielding. So hard to defend those square boundaries when they just tap it in there, that 30-yard tap. But he sprinted in. Good arm. Gee, that's a big blow. Spin to win here from the Melbourne Stars against the Strikers. That used to be their motto, spin to win.
It's worked. 2 wickets. And that's a good delivery as well from Maxwell. A bit fuller on off stump, and it's a good shot in the end. Renshaw into square leg. They ran the single. The throw came in hot from Zampa, but they got back in time, well in time, for the safe one. Wells is on 1, Renshaw is on 3, and after 3 overs, the Strikers in a bit of trouble, 2 for 10.
Hi, it's Doug the Tradie. If you're a tradie like me, you need the correct insurance. It's easy with IMAR. They offer competitive premiums, instant cover and no paperwork. Go online, get an instant quote and pay the premium, or call an expert now on 13IMAR. You'll be covered in a few simple steps and ready to get on with the job. Visit imar.com.au today or call 13IMAR and get a quote, get covered, get working.
Now the tradies, mate. That's IMAR.
2 for 10, the score at the MCG. Jordan Canellis and our expert, Bryce McGain, for Western Union. Another fast delivery by Western Union. Send money online with their app. Pace now. Billy Stanlake is bowling. It's almost feathered down the leg side, but a wide is called. As Matt Renshaw did flirt with it a little bit. Stuck the bat out behind his hips. Seb Gotch took the catch behind the stumps, but a wide has been signalled. Stanlake bowling from the members' ends. The first pace bowling that we've seen from the Stars bowling innings.
He's got a slip in place, and with the extra bounce, 3 fielders in around that point area.
Stanlake is in. Shorter balls, shorter and a little slower as well. And that's touched into point by Renshaw for a dot ball.
And that's why that extra bounce, Renshaw's strong through point, so the cover is very, very square. It's a cover point, in a bit tighter. That's Stoinis there. And I've got Spiceman at backward point. I think it's Cartwright also at point. So they've really jammed up that region to stop Renshaw scoring there.
Right arm over the wicket to the left-handed batsman. It's beaten the outside edge of Renshaw, who angled the bat to try and play the defensive shot. And it's not missed him by much, nor has it missed the top of off stump by much either. What a great delivery by Billy Stanlake.
And Renshaw staying really leg side then, and it did seem away from him, but it did go over off stump as well. Tremendous bowling. Went a long way.
Billy Stanlake, 204 centimetres, charging in from the members. That one's on the stumps as well, but full connection by Renshaw to play the defensive shot for a dot ball. Just the 1 run so far from 3 deliveries in Billy Stanlake's opening over.
None for 23 at the end of 4 overs. That's what the Stars were able to achieve. 2 for 11. Now with just 4 balls to go to that stage. So they're a bit behind, and of course losing those 2 wickets early. Salt and Carey back in the pavilion.
Renshaw on strike, another forward defence from Renshaw to Billy Stanlake's delivery. Stanlake pitching that one on off to the left-hander and connecting it just in front of middle. Good straight line from Billy Stanlake to Matt Renshaw. Renshaw 3 off 7. Wells at the other end, 1 off 1. Melbourne Stars had only won 1 game of their last 6 before tonight. Good shot that time from Matt Renshaw. Straight drive down the ground. Hit it with authority. It's a ferocious shot straight back past the bowler. That went down with some pace. A boundary for Renshaw. Catching you before your luck's all out, TAC.
With a bit of movement by Billy Stanlake, you'd be forgiven to be a bit suspicious of the ball seaming around and being a bit more watchful. He wasn't suspicious then. A pitched up ball in the hit zone is there to be whacked, and he did so. Straight down the ground. Good batting, Matt Renshaw. That'll give him some confidence now.
Last ball for Stanlake, and that one is dropped into point for a dot ball. That boundary had the full flourish at the end to follow through all the way over his shoulder from Matt Renshaw. At the end of the power play for Tyre Power, know your tyres. It's the Adelaide Strikers, 2 for 15.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
The Melbourne Stars setting a target for the Adelaide Strikers of 180 to win. The Strikers won the bat flip and chose to bowl first. They set themselves up for the run chase, and it hasn't gone all that swimmingly so far. Carey out for 1, Salt out for 5.
Yeah, Jordan, you're spot on. The power play comparison, none for 23. The Stars were not critical, but we thought it was a bit conservative.
Yeah.
2 for 15. At a run rate of 3.5, the Strikers. They're a long way behind already, and this innings gets back-ended in a hurry.
Glenn Maxwell, third over in a row from the Great Southern Stand end, bowling to Wells, who starts with his traditional shot into the points region and getting 2. Good running from the tall and the short, Renshaw and Wells.
Manuel here with his into his third over. He'd be very pleased. He's only had 5 runs off his first 2, plus the big wicket of Carey. Why not have a third?
Maxwell bowls and pushes Wells back into his crease. Stop ball, leg side. Good momentum, Glenn Maxwell. 37 runs batting. Now he's got the wicket here of Carey in his previous over. Dot ball there into backward point as well. Wells trying to cut that behind into the ground and bouncing it through the fielders, but didn't get it through the fielders. Maxwell bowls. And Wells straight back to Maxwell. Top ball.
Good bowling. Big ball, this one.
Yes, mate. Same delivery. Same result. Wells straight back to Maxwell, who feigned as he collected it in front of the stumps, feigned to bowl it or throw it through his legs to the bowler's end. Renshaw to get back quick smart. Didn't release it in the end, Maxwell. Just a feint. They take a single there as Wells cuts it behind point, and Renshaw gets home safe to end the over. And after 5 overs, the Adelaide Strikers needing to get to 180 to win. They're 2 for 18.
If you love racing, you'll love SEN Track. Start your day with us, Ian Healy and Pat Welsh, and catch up on all the latest in chasing, pacing and racing. Join us on SEN Track Ingham 96.1 FM, Atherton 99.1 FM, and the all-new Gold Coast 1620 AM, and Brisbane 1053 AM.
It's the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Join in all the fun on SEN Track.
SEN Track.
Also available on the SEN app.
Adam Zampa coming on to bowl from the members' end, so they continue with the spin. Just the 1 over from pace, Billy Stanlake, Glenn Maxwell, Zahir Khan and Adam Zampa.
Well, they can also go to Nick Maddinson with left arm orthodox. They've got just about every type of bowler covered here. Off spin, leg spin of both arms, if they want to go that way.
They do like spin bowling in the MCG, don't they, the Melbourne Stars?
Yeah.
Plenty of games here before.
Pace off.
Yeah. And they've had 3 or more spinners bowling, multiple overs each. Zampa bowling, it's caught a little bit of paddy foot, but took a bit of bat on the way through as well. Good delivery to begin. They get a single off it.
Just looking to work that one square of the wicket. Jono Wells, saved by a toothpick, just flicked the inside of his bat. That was straight at the stumps. A little bit of bat on that one. The 2 noises. Shuffling the field around now. There'll be 2 behind point for Renshaw, the left-hander. Zampa will stay over the wicket. Fielder's out deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, deep long on, deep mid-off, and a sweeper on the offside.
Zampa coming over the wicket to Renshaw. Clipped away down to mid-on for a single. And they'll stay with that. 2 for 20, the score. The Adelaide Strikers. Renshaw and Jono Wells out there. Renshaw on 8, Wells on 5, and he'll face. Zampa comes in. Wells follows the spin of the ball by driving it through cover and finding the fielder in the outfield. Gets a single. So are Renshaw and Wells going to do the same thing as the Stars did, even though they're starting from a further way back, but just stay out there and play it slow and maintain the wickets in the shed until the second half, as Renshaw, with a straight drive, gets it down for a single? Conservative?
Well, yeah, you can't afford to be, because the run rate's already up to 11 and over required. So when you get a score around 180, you've got to go at 9s from ball 1. The Stars have pushed it over 10s, and they would be loving that at this early stage.
Zampa bowls, and Wells off the hips into the leg side again for another single. Very good over so far from Adam Zampa. Singles all round. Last ball coming up.
Terrific bowling.
Temperatures just dropped a couple of degrees.
As it blows through the window here.
Iron off my wind cheater in the corner. Zampa's bowled to Renshaw. And that's, again, down the ground for a single as they amble through. Renshaw and Wells. Picket fence over, 6 runs off it. And it is 2 for 24.
IMAR. We all know they're the tradies' mates when it comes to business insurance. But did you know that IMAR has window cleaners covered too? Insure your window cleaning business with IMAR and receive commercial and industrial cover for 2-story, 5-story and no height restrictions. Plus, receive competitive monthly premiums at no additional cost. Just a simple phone call and we'll get you covered too. Call 13-IMAR now. That's 134627.
They're the tradies, mate. That's IMAR.
Melbourne Stars and the Adelaide Strikers beginning the first game of the last hub of the season. Melbourne is the last stop. There'll be plenty more games from the Adelaide Oval coming up, never fear. South Australians, you've got a handful more matches left, but they'll share the duties, Adelaide and Melbourne, to see out the BBL 10 season. Zahir Khan has been switched around. There's a big shout for LBW. Didn't get any connection, Matt Renshaw. And umpire didn't really entertain the appeal. Zahir Khan was sort of the only one who went up.
And when you're onto a good thing, which the Stars are here, spin is winning the game.
Khan is bowling. That's hit the pads. Big appeal, desperate appeal from Zahir. This time with more plead in his voice, and the umpire says no.
We didn't pick the wrong one there. That spun into the left-hander and hit him halfway up the pad, and maybe just slipping down leg side. That's the only possible reason.
The replay for Rapitude will keep you moving came up on the big screen. Oohs and ahs from the crowd. This time Renshaw finds the connection, but only finds the fielder at cover. Dot ball.
So Zahir Khan is low, very low when he releases the ball. It's skiddy, but he does get the ball to spin. Spin it away from the left-hander and into him. That was that LBW shout. Good skills.
Zahir is in. That one is... Oh, that was hit the non-striker. It's hit his bat, actually. He's okay. There was pummeled down with an on-drive, and John O'Well's bat took the full brunt of that ball from Matt Renshaw. And the willow went flying through the air. They got a single. That'll make for an interesting replay.
Just whacked it. I think he was looking to go, knock the bat out of his hands as he tried to lift it up out the way. Had no time at all. I think Renshaw was looking more offside. Dragged it to the onside. Zahir Khan good over again, building pressure. 4 balls, 1 run.
Khan bowling. Wells.
Googly.
He's just a dot ball. Renshaw was scurrying to get back into his ground. The non-strikers as Seb Gotch threw off the glove.
The left arm leg spinner here, spinning it across the right-hander. They're really struggling to pick him.
Yeah.
And he's quick. He gives you no time and a different trajectory. Very, very low.
Zahir Khan bowling, pulling away is Wells into the leg side, fielded in the deep by Larkin. And they get a single off that last one. So
over.
2 for 26 is the score. Matt Renshaw's on 11, Wells is on 8, and the Strikers are targeting 180 to win.
Real adventures with Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Everything fishing, boating and outdoors.
I'm just astonished how many people are still using the wrong burley cages, Pat. You need to get your cages down to the bottom for the whiting. Look at the design of a whiting's face. They're shaped so their mouth turns in underneath their jaw and they feed hard on the bottom. So where are they going to be? They're going to be on the bottom.
Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Subscribe and listen today wherever you get your podcasts.
0433 98 11 16 if you want to send in a text on the Big Bash Nation text line. Not good signs though if we have a look. Rain's coming, guys. It's sunshine heading your way. Fingers crossed it misses. Go Stars, says Anonymous. And bucketing down in Geelong, guys, heading your way, says Tim. Thanks.
It's a bit concerning.
Oh, boy.
And it's not a good news for the strikers in actual fact. Well,
yeah.
We're probably going to 30 minutes and then it will get heavy. There's no doubt about it.
Harris Ralph is bowling and he's being cast away into the leg side by Jono Wells, who got it through the air. We'll only get the 2 as it's fielded at deep mid-wicket. Harris Ralph bowling his first over here in this match for the Melbourne Stars. Returned to the team mid-season after it was initially thought he wouldn't be with the side. He was on duty with Pakistan at the start of the year, but came back halfway through. Almost fell over in his run-through, or his follow-through as well.
So the pass score comes into calculation here. I'll explain that in a second where we're up to.
Ralph is bowling, right arm over, chopped down behind point by Wells for a single.
He's a real slippery customer, Harris Ralph. Burst onto the scene last year out of grade cricket in Tassie.
Glenorchy.
And great relief to everyone playing grade cricket in Tassie was the fact that he was picked up by the Stars because he's bowling 149 clicks tonight. He's pumped to be at the MCG. Does his best work here. Bit of pace, bit of bounce in the wicket.
And as a result, he's been capped by Pakistan at a national level. 2 ODIs and 11 T20 internationals in the last calendar year for Harris Ralph. Now Renshaw through square leg. They want to come back for 2. It has to be fast, and they get there in the end. Good running from the big man. The ball came in from square leg at his end, so the strikers, and he got back safe.
So the field for Harris Ralph is mid-on and mid-off up inside the circle. So clearly he's going to look to hit the wicket hard. There's a deep fine leg, a deep backward square leg, a deep forward square leg. So it's a very square set field on the onside for the left-handed Renshaw. Third man and a sweeper out on the offside as well.
58 is the target for the bonus point here for the strikers at the 10-over mark. 2.5 overs to get 27 runs to get there. Not going to do it with dot balls like that. Good bowling, Harris Ralph to Nat Renshaw.
So that's certainly achievable. That one there.
Yep.
It's manageable. But I mentioned the pass score before. The pass score at the end of this over will be 63. They're currently 2 for 31. Now, the pass score is a calculation of what's required, but also the resources you use. So if you start losing wickets, that pass score gets further and further away. So they've used a couple of resources already. So it rewards the bowling team to take wickets.
Ralph bowling, and it's sliced off the edge of the bat by Renshaw over the keeper's head and down to third man for 4. Well, he's tried to blast it down the ground or somewhere into the leg side, Matt Renshaw. In the end, it's just skewed away off the top and looped over Seb Gotch and behind the keeper for a boundary. Got lucky, Matt Renshaw, but it does help the chase for the bonus point. Catching you before your luck's all out, TAC boundary.
Just the third boundary.
Yeah.
For the whole innings. And we're in the 8th over. It's been an extraordinary bowling performance by the Stars.
Thick edge. Ralph right arm over the wicket to Renshaw, who's this time tucking it down to fine leg and picking up 1.
Expensive over by Ralph.
Ends the over. 2 for 36 the score.
If you love racing, you'll love SEN Track. Start your day with us, Ian Healy and Pat Welsh, and catch up on all the latest in chasing, pacing and racing. Join us on SEN Track Ingham 96.1 FM, Atherton 99.1 FM, and the all-new Gold Coast 1620 AM, and Brisbane 1053 AM.
It's the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Join in all the fun on SEN Track.
SEN Track.
Also available on the SEN app.
Big Bash Nation around the country from the MCG. Floodlights taking full effect. 9 p.m. local time. Thankfully, the rain has stayed away for now. Zahir Khan is going to continue bowling to Matt Renshaw, who this time gets it over Jono Wells without hitting him and gets a single down to long on.
Just mistiming that one as he drags it to the onside. Not sure he's picking that. Not sure anyone is. He would be, I'm guessing, under 170 centimetres. 5'2", 5'3".
Zahir Khan is bowling. It's striking Jono Wells. There's a big appeal. He tried to sweep it. He mistimed it, Wells. Is it pitched outside leg as we have a look at the replay? Umpire's not interested at all. Rapid in replay. We'll
pitched
keep moving.
A mile outside leg. Yep. It was the wrong one. Would have been going onto the stumps. Easy decision for the umpire. Zahir Khan into the full appeal. The back running.
Khan is bowling, sweeping this time is Wells, and he's got it between the two fielders in the deep on the leg side, and it appears to have been saved, but Adam Zampa has dived awkwardly on his shoulder. He's getting up, he's wringing his left arm out. He might be okay as he's walking back into position. Now he's bent double again. He tried to tough it out the first time. He's taken the hat off.
I reckon he's in trouble here. I think he knows it. I think he's in trouble. He's walking off his hats. He's holding his hat. Not that that's an indicator, but I think he's really struggling.
Let's have a look here at the replay.
It was his full weight as he dived to do it. He's just trying to sneak up to short fine leg and no longer do any outriding. I think they've sent on another fielder.
They're shuffling the field around. Zampa's actually waved the sub-fielder off.
That was Tom O'Connell.
Yeah.
He darted on thinking this is my big opportunity to get on the MCG. And he's been waved off. Zampa's stayed on. He's now just trying to go through a bit of a bowling action and feel it.
It's his non-bowling arm. Zahir Khan is bowling again. And that's gone down the leg side. So that he did actually save the boundary, by the way. So just 2 off the last ball, but came at a cost for Adam Zampa.
Outstanding stop.
Yeah.
It really looked like it had got away. The outfield is lightning fast. Big dive, landed on the left shoulder.
So here is bowling, and it's beaten the bat. Beaten the bat of Jono Wells. Great delivery from Zahir.
Well, he's not picking him, and that's outstanding wrong and across the right-hander. Pitched in line with the stumps, and because of where it pitched, he thought, well, this is coming back. And it didn't. It spun further away.
Khan bowling this time. Wells hitting it past Zampa. It's short, fine leg, but goes past him and fielded on the right by Larkin. And he's thrown it back in as they run 2 that time.
It's amazing how many balls, for those that can hear it in the stump mic, how many balls that Seb Gotch can't quite get on the full, that just land a little bit in front of him, a little half volley. Little ploy to soften up the ball by the Stars.
Zahir bowling, and he's left that Wells, and it's just beaten again.
So skillful.
Very good over from Zahir Khan. And again, spinning past the outside edge of the bat, going across the right-handed batsman from the left-handed spinner. Jono Wells on 15, Matt Renshaw on 19. Still need 16 runs in this last over before the halfway mark for the Bash Boost. It's 2 for 42.
Real adventures with Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Everything fishing, boating and outdoors.
I'm just astonished how many people are still using the wrong burley cages, Pat. You need to get your cages down to the bottom for the whiting. Look at the design of a whiting's face. They're shaped so their mouth turns in underneath their jaw and they feed hard on the bottom. So where are they going to be? They're going to be on the bottom.
Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Subscribe and listen today wherever you get your podcasts.
So 2 for 42 is the score, and Adam Zampa is going to come on to bowl here. So in that last over, when he went to dive to save the boundary, it was his left elbow that he landed on, and the shockwave from the left elbow up the upper arm into his shoulder is what caused the sting.
Still feeling it. He's wincing. He's really uncomfortable here.
It's his non-bowling arms. Let's see how he goes here.
He's tough in and out. We're ready for some action. Renshaw on strike. Zampa the bowler.
Right arm over the wicket here for Adam Zampa. He bowls and Renshaw goes clubbing it down the grounds and it falls a yard short of Maddinson on the rope. It's 1.
Good to get some feedback from our weathermen and weather, well, not necessarily all men, but undetermined, our weather people. There is a storm coming up the bay, southwesterly. About 15 minutes for some rain.
Zampa bowling. Wells jags it into point. They get a single. The Adelaide Strikers, who are just cruising along at 2 for 44.
And generally the game plan is to deny Zampa, just singles, look to knock him around, not get too aggressive. But they're running out of opportunities now. The run rate required is 12.75. They're currently going at 4.7.
Zampa's in. That's high in the air from Renshaw. Off the toe of the bat. Maddinson's coming in and he's taken the catch. Renshaw goes. It was a high ball. It was a rainmaker under the Melbourne skies. And Maddinson in from long on, came in, took the catch, diving forwards, and he took it easy. And Matt Renshaw has to go. He departs for 20 off 23. Caught Maddinson, bowled Zampa. So even despite the supposed shoulder injury, Zampa picks up a wicket.
Well, Renshaw didn't pick the wrong in there, and he ended up having to drag that from a long way outside off stump. And he's filthy with himself as he goes off the ground. He picked the wrong ball to attack. Spinning away from the left-hander. Zampa gets his man. Courageous stuff. It looked like a dire injury just in the last over. He's bounced up. He's still showing a fair bit of discomfort in his left arm, but that'll ease the pain, no doubt. Getting a key wicket of Renshaw and the third wicket for the Adelaide Strikers. Brings out Jake Weatherall. Now he's in some good touch.
He is. Since his move down into the middle order, he's been in really good form, Jake Weatherall. His last 4 games, which has been since he moved to the middle order, 34, 51, 19, 19. Which is fantastic scoring. He only had 1 significant score early in the season. With I think it was a 63 he had opening the bat.
68 not out, yeah.
68.
Yep.
So here he is in the middle order, batting at number 5. Jake Weatherall, along with Jono Wells at the other ends. Wells is on strike and he's clipping it through square leg. You heard the groan from Seb Gotch in the stump mic.
And the bash boost will not be happening for them. They were chasing. The target that was set was a modest 58.
Very.
But they've fallen, well, they're 13 runs shy of that now.
2 balls to go on the over.
They won't be getting it.
No.
And that's a real blow. I thought they might be able to tick that one off on the way and then just set up the second part. But the losing wickets early of Salt and Carey in the second and third over and being 2 for 10 at that stage really put the kibosh on this run chase for the Strikers.
Zampa right arm over, a little fuller that time, and on the front foot defence there's Jake Weatherall. 1 ball to come. Three for 45 is the score. So Renshaw gone for 20. Carey went for 1. Salt went for 5. Those are the 3 wickets to fall. Top edge from Weatherall. It's gone past Seb Gotch. It'll run down to the rope, but third man for 4. Lucky break for the Adelaide Strikers. They needed those runs. They won't get the bonus point as the over comes to an end. But Weatherall gets a boundary, and he gets it for the TAC, catching in before your luck's all out. So after 10 overs, 3 for 49, they don't get the bonus point. That goes to the Melbourne Stars. They've got 1 point to start with. There's 3 more points up for grabs. Will the Stars get it? Will the Strikers get it? 10 overs gone. As I said, Carey out for 1 off 6. Bowled by Glenn Maxwell. Phil Saltz out for 5 off 8 deliveries. His wicket taken by Zahir Khan, and Matt Renshaw the one to fall in that over. Fall off wicket 3 for 44. Renshaw out for 20 off 23. Weatherall is out there. Jono Wells is out there as well. And it is the beer drinks break for Bundaberg Ginger Beer, the great Australian brew. After 10 overs, the Strikers are 3 for 49.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
Jordan Canellis and our expert Bryce McGain for Western Union. Another fast delivery by Western Union. Send money online with their app. Halfway mark of the run chase, Bryce, and the Adelaide Strikers fell 8 runs short of the Bash Boost bonus point, 3 for 49 at the halfway mark. Your assessment of the first 10 overs for the team in blue?
Well, Stars have been completely dominant, and it's been spin that's been doing the job. It's been such good captaincy. Glenn Maxwell will continue bowling now, the 11th over. He'll knock over his 4 overs. First over went for 2, then 3, then 3 again. Incredible figures. He's got 1 for 8 off 3 overs. The Stars are completely dominant here. Just to give you an idea, there is rain coming. I'll let you know. There's heavy rain coming, and that's probably about 15 minutes away. There might be a bit of light rain beforehand, might even be falling now, speckling around. So there's going to be heavy rain. We will stop. The par score is 82. Currently, the Strikers are 3 for 49. They are miles behind that particular area. I think Zampa's gone off now. He's gone off the field. He can't be subbed out, though.
Maxwell continues. He starts with a ball to Wells. He turns it into the leg side, and he'll get a single. Fielded by Marcus Stoinis.
Now, Zampa can't be subbed because he did bowl that 10th over. Now, if he hadn't have bowled that, they could sub him out and another player could come in.
Can they... I don't think they can sub in the second innings, though. Just the first innings.
Oh, right.
Which I do find really perplexing. Yeah. Because it's only a quarter way mark.
I was just trying to work out a way that they could catch up the couple of overs that they were doing. But he's off the ground.
Maxwell into Weatherald.
Thanks, Jordan. And well, Dave Hussey's pulled the right strings here. He knows this ground better than most. He's the coach of the Melbourne Stars.
Maxwell bowling. Weatherald tipped away into the leg side. Fletcher does the fielding. That's a single.
He's doing his best with the visor on. His best Sean Payton impersonation.
Yes.
Saints in the NFL.
Big game coming up this weekend for New Orleans. Brady against Breeze. That's in the air from Wells. It's gone down to long off, and it is a catch again. Same region. Tom O'Connell, the sub fielder, takes the catch. Down the ground, in the air, and the Strikers batsmen fall the same way. Renshaw went in the same manner. And now it's Wells who goes. He's out for 18. Caught O'Connell. And Glenn Maxwell has his second wicket.
What an inspired bowling performance. He's got 2 for 10 with a couple balls to go in his overall 4-over spell. Manuel, you're a genius. Opening the bowling. Fantastic stuff from the captain. That's how to lead from the front. Runs when he batted 37 off 28, and now 2 wickets. 2 big wickets. Alex Carey and Jono Wells. Wells on his way, 18 off 23. Never really got firing. Was looking to get the tempo back in the innings by running hard and getting busy. Never really found the boundary. And this is comprehensive by the Stars. As light rain drizzly falls here at the MCG. It's not good news for anyone.
Barely noticeable, but it's just starting to come, I think. Maxwell bowling to Weatheralds. And he gets a single down into mid-on. Ryan Gibson, the new batsman out there, as scheduled at number 6. So the score is 4 for 52. The Adelaide Strikers need to get to 180 to win, and they've lost the 4 wickets. We are in the 11th over. Maxwell bowls to the new batsman Gibson, who starts with a slicing shot through cover. Just a single. End of the over. Glenn Maxwell finishes his 4 overs with figures of 2 for 12. Unbelievable performance from the captain. 2 for 12. And after 11 overs, it's 4 for 53.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
Not only is there rain on the way, Bryce, but if you look over to your left, there's lightning as well.
Yeah, this is dangerous stuff at the moment.
Yep.
It is a huge storm coming up the bay, thanks to all our weather reports.
Zahir Khan is in full toss. It's pulled into the leg side. It's out. It's a wicket. Well, the Melbourne Stars are going to try and do this before the storm hits. Another batsman goes and Zahir Khan gets his wicket. And departing this time is Ryan Gibson for 1. It was delivered full at waist height. He's pulled it into the leg side, and diving forward and taking the catch was Hilton Cartwright. Caught Cartwright, bowled Zahir.
Good low catch coming forward, and Gibson's on his way. The New South Welshman played 5 first-class games, is on his way, the 27-year-old, and that's another big blow. 3 wickets now in 3 overs. Zampa got 1, Maxwell got the next one, Zahir Khan with his first ball, and it's the strikers 5 for 53.
Wickets tumbling with the spin bowlers doing the damage. Maxwell has 2, Zahir has 2, Adam Zampa, who's off the field, has 1. And so now we get into the tail end. Cam Valenti is in there, the all-rounder at number 7, but hasn't played a game in about a year. In fact, just over a year, smidgen over at 12 months in the Big Bash. Took 1 wicket bowling, took the wicket off Glenn Maxwell. He's at the non-striker's end. Jake Weatherald on strike. John O'Well's departed for 18. Zahir Khan is bowling, left arm over the wicket. Weatherald cutting it, and it's going through the hands of Harris Ralph at backward points. They'll get a couple of runs off this. In the end, it's gone all the way to the right where Fletcher does the fielding. And they ran 2 off that ball.
Misfield by Ralph. That's not good. Ringing his hand there. Maxwell had snuck into a slip, and they bowled the perfect delivery for it. Now he goes out of that spot to support Ralph at backward point. Maxwell's in there as well. 2 behind point.
Khan is bowling. He was reaching for it. Weatherald's got Chat to lurch a long way to his left to collect it. Wide has been signalled. That went really wide.
Sure did. It went very, very wide. Pass score now 106. 5 for 56, the strikers.
Zahir bowls in the air. It's going to land safe off the toe of Weatherald's bat. Maxwell running towards the boundary. Fletcher running in from the boundary, and it landed between them at points. And Weatherald gets a single. Brings Cam Valenti on strike. 5 for 57. In the 12th over here, Valenti yet to face. Weatherald on 9 off 7. Phil Salt the first to go for 5. Alex Carey next for just the 1. Matt Renshaw for 20. John O'Wells for 18. Ryan Gibson for 1. 3 wickets in 3 overs prior to this current over. Slip in place for Zahir Khan. Comes off the toe of the bat. Fielded by Larkin, who is marauding in at the non-striker's ends.
Zahir Khan's been superb as well. 2 for 17. He's got two balls to finish his spell. There's a slip in place, and why wouldn't you? Glenn Maxwell catching cover as well. The pressure is all over Valenti.
To face his first ball here, Zahir Khan bowling. Left arm around the wicket. It stayed low. It skidded on, and Valenti off the pads into the leg side. Gets off the mark with 1.
Real round arm delivery, that one. By Zahir Khan. Changing the width and the angle. He's got some pretty fast shoes on as well, the bright red ones.
They are Ferrari shoes, aren't they? Zahir Khan bowls, and Weatherall chops it into point, beats the fielder in the ring. Fletcher comes in off the rope, fields it for 1. And it's at the end of the over. Adam Zampa's coming back on the field, so he's back on. Who've put, I suppose, the magic spray on the shoulder. Tom O'Connell goes off. Had a catch for his night. Well done, sub-fielder. After 12 overs, the strikers are 5 for 59.
Real adventures with Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Everything fishing, boating and outdoors.
I'm just astonished how many people are still using the wrong burley cages, Pat. You need to get your cages down to the bottom for the whiting. Look at the design of a whiting's face. They're shaped so their mouth turns in underneath their jaw and they feed hard on the bottom. So where are they going to be? They're going to be on the bottom.
Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Subscribe and listen today wherever you get your podcasts.
Now it's starting to just spit a little bit at the MCG. The strikers need 121 runs to win off 8 overs remaining. The required run rate is 15.1, and the power surge has been taken.
Well, trust me, it's going to be huge rain here. It's one of those ones at the Gabba where the groundsman just drove the tractor on the ground. It is going to really hammer down. The groundsmen are all ready. They've got their coats on. They know what's ahead of them, and that's a lot of hard work in a very short space of time.
Adam Zampa back on and bowling and hitting Valenti on the pads and getting him. Adam Zampa takes the wicket. It's hit him on the back leg right in front of the stumps. That is plumb. LBW. Jake Weatherall goes for 10.
Well, he's come back on. A bit of quick treatment. They've checked him out. It's all clear. And that's the way to do it. Straight back into the attack and bang. LBW. The finger was moving before he'd even turned around. Great appeal by Seb Gotch as well. They absolutely loved it. I reckon Zampa's hurt his shoulder even more. His left arm by celebrating. He was wincing as soon as it happened. Terrific bowling, attacking the stumps. Jake Weatherall beaten for pace then.
Each of the 3 spinners have 2 wickets apiece. Glenn Maxwell 2, Zahir Khan 2, and now Adam Zampa has 2. Matt Renshaw and Jake Weatherall, his scalps. And now we certainly are into the tail end as the rain is starting to come down a little heavier now. The umpires are just holding their hands up saying, it's all right. Stay cool, we'll play.
Well, we've got a game, that's the thing. So the result would clearly be a Stars victory at this point in time.
The umpire is standing in the path of Adam Zampa's run in, which obviously means play is paused, getting word from upstairs, but back into position now, so we play on. Zampa is bowling. Right arm over, and he's just beaten the bat of Dan Worrell, who was trying to cut it through the covers. Missed it.
Well, it's skidding now. It's so much quicker, and it did spin too. Big spinning leg break.
Zampa's in again. That one bounces up off the crease, off the defensive shot for a dot ball. A wicket and 2 dots in this over. This is the power surge as well, mind you, for the strikers. Zampa's bowling high in the air, Dan Worrell. It goes down the ground, and it is caught. Andre Fletcher takes the catch in the ring. In fact, barely left the ring. It barely went that far away from the pitch. And Dan Worrell is gone for naught. Andre Fletcher has the catch. And this is ugly for the Adelaide strikers. 7 for 59.
They are now dropping like flies. And this is going to have a big impact in their net run rate as well. Certainly something to consider.
Yep.
They had a really good positive 0.3 in their run rate, which is good. that is going to get a real smack, and the Stars need every bit of a boost here for net run rate. Theirs was negative 0.4, so the Stars have already picked up one of the points, and they're going to pick up all 4. And with a big shift here, they might find themselves leaping up the ladder.
Can the net run rate, because they were negative net run rate, weren't they, the Melbourne Stars? Can they jump?
Negative 0.4.
Can they jump above the Perth scores?
The impact on it is enormous.
Yeah.
The impact of such a big win like this, if they wrap it up or the game gets knocked off here, they'll adjust the total, but it's done.
I was half joking before, but the Stars might actually bowl Adelaide out before the Storm does hit.
Well, the pass score's 130 now.
Zampa's bowling to Briggs, who gets hits. Maybe just got a little bit of bat on it as he turns it around the corner and will pick up a 4. Little sweep from Danny Briggs around the corner to fine leg, picks up a boundary. Catching him before he lucks all out, TAC. He was hoping for the double wicket maiden, Adam Zampa, but it's been burnt now with the boundary.
3 for 17. Zampa into his third over. Last ball now.
Zampa's bowling to Briggs. There's a shout. There's a shout. There's a finger. Adam Zampa has wicket number 4. What a night for him. 4 wickets. He still has an over in the bank as well. Injured shoulder. He's doing it all. Briggs departs with 4 off 2. Zampa has figures of 4 for 17 with an over to come. End of the 13th over. The strikers are 8 for 63.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
Wickets for Scott Pack turn unpaid invoices into cash. Scottpack.com.au. Adam Zampa has Renshaw, has Weatherald, has Worrell, has Briggs. He has figures of 4 for 17 with an over still to come. All those wickets falling for Scott Pack turn unpaid invoices into cash. Scottpack.com.au. Remarkable. The Adelaide strikers are 8 for 63 and the Melbourne Stars are looking to wrap this up in a hurry.
His pockets are bulging. They're full of wickets. He's been amazing. 3 in the over. And they've lost 6 in 4 overs.
Triple wicket over for Adam Zampa. Billy Stanlake is on just for a bit of pace. Why not? Right arm over. He's opened up a bit of space there as well, Valenti. So if you're struggling to keep up, Adam Zampa. Just then, LBW, Danny Briggs. He had Dan Worrell caught by Fletcher, bowled by Zampa. Ryan Gibson was out earlier off the bowling of Zahir Khan. Jake Weatherald, LBW, Adam Zampa. And earlier in the night was Matt Renshaw as well, whose wicket was taken by Adam Zampa.
The power surge is on.
Billy Stanlake, right arm over, shorter delivery. It just died on the way through. He tried to swipe out at Cam Valenti over the top of his bat and through to the wicketkeeper for a dot.
Slower bumper and drizzly rain still falls here at the MCG. It's nearly like it's just parting around the MCG. It's gone from very heavy to now moderate, and we're playing through it. It's definitely moderate now, I can assure you.
Yeah, there's definitely rain.
Ring of 5 inside the circle on the offside. Really fine. Glenn Max was in about a second slip spot right back on the ring.
Stanlake is bowling. He has nicked it. Yes, he has. Oh. Another wicket. Cam Valenti this time stepping into the offside, trying to play the almighty hook shot behind square. Caught a bit of glove, goes through to Seb Gotch, who takes the catch behind the stumps, and Stanlake gets involved in the wicket taking. Valenti goes for 1 run. The strikers are down to their last wicket. It's 9 for 63. And this is in the power surge.
Well, this is just extraordinary. We've not seen anything like that in Big Bash 10.
No.
The amount of wickets just crumbling all at once. The pressure built. It was spin to win by the Stars right from the top. Glenn Maxwell, Adam Zampa. They've all been at it. Zahir Khan. They've all been bowling superbly. Stan Lake's into his second over. Ralph's bowled one. Other than that, it's all spin. It's been extraordinary. A dominant display by the Melbourne Stars and a net run rate booster as well.
So Wes Agar and Liam O'Connor are the last two in the batting lineup. This is the 10th wicket partnership. It's 9 for 63. Not even the Melbourne Renegades, I think, have collapsed this hard this season. Billy Stanlake bowls, and it's been cut to points. And there's a slight misfield at backward point, which allows them to run and brings Wes Agar back on strike. It's quite remarkable. So even in that, was it the Renegades against the Scorchers, where the Renegades fell for their lowest score, or one of their lowest scores?
Yep.
Even those wickets were spread out over to over. We didn't have a triple wicket over in that match like we did before. Stanlake's bowling to Agar, who has positively crunched it through the covers. The heavy outfield might see it hold up, and it does. If it weren't raining, it might have been a 4, but Marcus Stoinis overhauls it. And in the end, they run 3.
And a good throw by Stoinis, showing his power arm into Seb Gotch on the full, right next to the stumps, from deep at the Punt Road goal square. Positive stuff by Wes Agar. 9 down, 9 for 67. You can't believe this.
Stanlake is in, bowling this one. They're all on the stumps now. It's crunched in by O'Connor. There's a throw-out opportunity. A run-out chance came from Stoinis, who was running towards the non-striker's end as he let fly, and it only bounced narrowly past as O'Connor was making up his ground. He got back safe in the ends. 14 overs. O'Connor's on 2, Agar's on 3. There's 1 wicket to win here for the Melbourne Stars. The strikers are 9 for 68.
If you love racing, you'll love SEN Track. Start your day with us, Ian Healy and Pat Welsh, and catch up on all the latest in chasing, pacing and racing. Join us on SEN Track Ingham 96.1 FM, Atherton 99.1 FM, and the all-new Gold Coast 1620 AM, and Brisbane 1053 AM.
It's the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Join in all the fun on SEN Track.
SEN Track.
Also available on the SEN app.
Big Bash Nation, the Adelaide Strikers in dire straits. 1 wicket to win here for the Melbourne Stars. Rain's coming down at the MCG. They want to finish this up, though, the Stars. Adam Zampa is into his last over. He has figures of 4 for 17. That ball was a dot. Just got past the outside edge of the bat of Liam O'Connor. The 2 tail enders are in, 10 and 11 in the order. And he's bowled. Adam Zampa has a fifer. And the Melbourne Stars win at the MCG in dramatic conditions. The Strikers collapsed in a heap, and the Stars will leapfrog up into third on the Big Bash ladder. Andre Fletcher, 89 runs. Adam Zampa, injured shoulder, 5 for 17. And it's a wet and wild way to come back to Melbourne for the Stars. They win by 111 runs.
Absolutely extraordinary turnaround of fortune from the Stars. We spoke about them in the pre-match, just their current form. They've dropped 4 of the last 5 games on a losing streak, dropping their last 2. It was the Strikers that knocked them off in Adelaide on Monday night. And what a resounding turnaround of form this is for the Melbourne Stars. They've bounced back and they've shown that they're incredibly capable, with some really good batting, some measured batting, only losing 2 wickets, but being able to post up and really back-end a terrific innings. They got to 179, and the Strikers, they fell behind very early. Salt was out early in the second over, Carey out in the third, and they just were squeezed completely with spin bowling. They didn't pick up the power boost at the 10-over mark. They were 3 for 49, and then it's all over at the beginning of the 15th over. They have lost 8. They have extraordinarily. They've lost 8 wickets for next to nothing as the Stars just tore through them. Adam Zampa, 5 poles.
Unbelievable performance from the Melbourne Stars. They wrapped this one up early. 111 run victors, and as soon as the match was wrapped up, the covers have come out. The rain is coming down a bit harder now, but the Stars have done what we were joking about earlier, but they actually did it. They got the Adelaide Strikers all out before the storm really hit. The rain's coming down a bit harder now at the MCG, but the Hessian covers are coming on, and the over-the-top covers to cover the square will be on in a second. Bryce McGain is our expert here on Big Bash Nation tonight on the post-game show from McDonald's. The McRib and El Maco are back at Macca's this summer. Oh, big flash of lightning. Boy, oh boy, the match might be over, but the show's still on. Bryce, that was emphatic by the Melbourne Stars. It was brilliant entertainment at the start by Andre Fletcher with a knock of 89 unbeaten, 49 balls he faced, 8 4s and 4 6s, and then the spin bowling. Maxwell had 2 wickets, Zahir Khan had 2 wickets, and Adam Zampa had 5 wickets for the Melbourne Stars, and that was peak Melbourne Stars. You don't want to face them at the MCG.
It's just about perfect the way they've played the MCG. They were settled at the top of the order. Were maybe a little critical, I was, certainly of Stoinis, that he was just a bit slow. Strike rate of 50. He got 13 off 26 and was out in the 7th over and looked like the handbrake was on. They got to 57 off their first 10 and it was looking a bit daunting, but then they just back-ended it and it was just terrific batting, exceptional batting in the end. With Andre Fletcher, 89 off 49. Hilton Cartwright with 30 off 17. A terrific cameo. He was striking at 176. Fletcher was striking at 181, and that's exactly how to do it. The target, it was a big stretch. 180 is a huge target at the MCG. They set it up beautifully, and, well, the Strikers were never really in it. They lost 2 early wickets, tried to consolidate with Renshaw and Wells, and then it all collapsed when those 2 batsmen went out in successive overs in the 10th and 11th. And it all just fell away so very, very quickly for the Strikers.
It is the Adelaide Strikers' worst score, their lowest ever score by, 19 runs. It is the 3rd lowest score in Big Bash history. The Renegades 57 when they were bowled out in 2015 against the Melbourne Stars. The Renegades again earlier this season when they were bowled out by the Sydney Sixers, it was not Perth. And then now the Strikers fit in at number 3, bowled out on the, what's today? The 15th of January, 2021 against the Melbourne Stars. So
a night to forget for the Strikers. A disappointing night. They've got a bit of, they've got to pull themselves together. That's what they do need to do because they need to bounce back. I can't wait to see what impact this has on the ladder. With the Stars, their net run rate of negative 0.438 is going to dramatically change, and the Strikers' run rate will go south very, very quickly. They're on equal points, and this might push the Stars above them. Equal points now. 20 points are shared with the Scorchers in 3rd. Mm-hmm. Strikers, who are currently in 4th. Heat are in 5th. The Stars jump up to join them. They go past the Hobart Hurricanes, who slide down to 7th, and they do look to be in free fall at the moment, the Hurricanes.
So can this be a 1.3 net run rate swing to get above the Perth Scorchers?
Well, I can't do the sums.
I don't know how net run rate works.
Well,
I mean, vaguely, but...
Yeah, look, it's a bit of for and against, but I'm not going to work it out. I'll let the experts do that. I won't...
We'll just keep hitting refresh on the computer until they've done it.
Well, that's how we're going to do it, yeah. Yeah, everyone knew that was the case, but we'll wait and see how that goes. But, look, they lost, and thanks to Tom as well. Thanks for your feedback there. Adelaide lost their last 8 wickets for 24 runs in 30 balls. That's exactly what happened. It was just astonishing the way the Stars just leapt all over them, challenged them, and Adam Zampa, well, he just filled his pockets. He's got 5 of those scalps, and he's bowling superbly. He's the best white ball spinner in the country. That's why he does play for Australia. But he's showing that he's even taking that to another level now, and the Stars have really appreciated having him completely for the whole series, even though he had a little break there for a little potty mouth outburst.
Yep.
But, look, he's absolutely at the top of his game.
The covers are going down. The groundsmen are having a bit of trouble putting the larger cover for the square on. It's escaped from them. The wind's got underneath it. It's taken off like a yacht. They've got it back now. Couple of questions coming in on the text 0433 98 11 16 off the Big Bash Nation text line. Should they have been playing at all in the rain? The rain is at its heaviest right now. It sprinkled, I think, in those first couple of overs. It got pretty heavy. Well, when I say pretty heavy, it wasn't heavy at all, but it was a moderate drizzle, I would say, in those last 1 or 2 overs where they actually were still playing. Now it's picked up a lot.
Yep.
Should they have been playing in those conditions? And there was lightning around, not close in the distance. You never heard thunder, but there was lightning around.
Well, what they would be judging in that respect, the umpires would be getting exact information about where that is. The Bureau of Meteorology would be feeding back to the third umpire and the fourth official as well, just exactly where that is. If there's any danger at all, they would be straight off the field. So the lightning rather, might have just been adjacent. It was certainly a big storm coming, and we know now we can see some heavy rain certainly falling now, but there was thunder and lightning as it ripped up the bay, up Port Phillip Bay towards Melbourne, and it was certainly circling around. So, look, certainly with T20 cricket, they do play through a lot wetter weather, and they are quite prepared to change the ball as well if it's drizzling, but the umpires must have thought that it's not quite unsafe to play, and, I tend to agree.
Will the strikers feel aggrieved by it though? Do you reckon we'll hear anything from Jason Gillespie during the week about this, about playing in the rain, or was the damage already too much done?
Look, I think the damage was certainly done by that stage. I think that not a big drama in terms of any complaints by the strikers. They were simply outplayed and comprehensively outplayed by the Stars. And this will send a bit of a shudder through the competition. Other teams, certainly the ones up the pointy end of the table, will be looking over their shoulder going, oh, gee, they've really got their mojo together now. Mm-hmm. And they've just been stuttering along. They started so well, and they were really impressive in their first 2 games, the Stars, but they've just started along. And it had to do with a lot of their travelling, and they were moving all over Australia from the length to the breadth of the whole country. That they went there, and every game was an away game, was a travel game. Yep. They weren't actually situated, maybe a couple of games in Canberra at one stage, but then they were on the move all the time, down to Hobart, up to Queensland, across to Perth. They went everywhere, and I think now they're looking forward to just being settled in Melbourne.
The scary part for the next couple of games for the rest of the competition about the Melbourne Stars is that their next 2 fixtures are both against the Melbourne Renegades. So they'll be playing the team bottom place, who have been actually finding a little bit of form, not too much to the point that they're winning heaps of games, but they're better than the capitulations they were putting up earlier in the season, the Renegades. But the Stars now take on the Renegades in their next 2 matches. So this is going to play them even further into form, and it might cement them even more into the top 5 on the ladder. They do have a tough run home. They play the Scorchers and the Sixers in the final 2 games, the Melbourne Stars. They'll be playing perhaps the 2 most informed teams, but by that stage, they might be one of the 3 most informed teams after their doubleheader against the Renegades.
Absolutely, and to finish at the pointy end, you've got to beat those good teams. That's how you get up there, is by taking on the very best. Great feedback here. Thanks, Daz, for your update. He's done the calculations. The Stars go up to 4th. Now, we're trusting you here, Daz. We'll get the official word from the bean counters at the back room here that'll give us the official sheet of paper. But he's predicting, Daz, thanks very much, the Stars up to 4th. Net run rate plus 0.27 now, from negative 0.43 up to plus 0.27, and Adelaide's net run rate drops to negative 0.2, where it was a positive 0.3. So it's gone down half a point and gone up. For the Stars has gone up nearly 0.6, and Adelaide have dropped down considerably. Thanks for that, Daz.
Yep, absolutely. From Paul, the Strikers' batting was appalling, but it all started with terrible death bowling as well.
Good observation, Paul. Yeah, it was. They were unable to shut down, and I guess that's when your best players go out. Peter Siddle with a thumb injury. He would normally bowl a power surge over. That's guaranteed. He might even get one in the power play at the start, although Worrell's been doing a fair bit of that. But they're just unable to stop them. The last 4 overs, the 17th, 2 of these are power surge overs, so the 17th and 18th were power surge, 18, 15. And then Agar bowled another over for 18, and then Briggs bowled the last over for 16. So it just got out of hand right at the very end. The beginning of that They were 2 for 112 after 16 overs and ended up with 179. Unbelievable. 67 runs. 67 runs off the last 4 overs. Amazing batting.
Yeah, absolutely. The strikers, is it a case of no Rashid Khan, no Peter Siddle, no strikers?
Rashid Khan is impossible to replace. Liam Connor did exceptionally well. He was very economical. He was the most economical of the bowlers. So he's come in and done his job, done exactly what you would want. Didn't get a wicket, but he bowled very economically for the strikers. Just getting his figures now, none for 26, 6.5. Terrific bowling, but it was that death bowling, the way they were able to shut down the innings. Look, he's so hard to replace, and he's a wicket taker. That was the problem. They just were unable to take wickets, and the Stars just calculated it and measured it nicely, and then were able to accelerate so explosively in the end.
You reckon strikers make finals, or are they going to miss out? They've still got a decent points tally, as we were talking about before. They're in that logjam with everybody else. I'll get their run home up in just a second. But compared to the other sides, compared to the Perth Scorchers, who are now firmly, I think, entrenched as one of the form teams of the competition in that top 5, the strikers are still hovering around. And most teams, I mean, I think the whole top 7 will be hovering around the top 5, which gets you into finals until the end of the season. The strikers have the Brisbane Heat up next, which is, it's about a week away for them. So they've got time to regroup and perhaps time if Peter Siddle can get his thumb right to be back for that. They've got the Heat, the Thunder, and the Thunder again. So they've got double header against the Sydney Thunder, who are travelling very well.
Yeah, I think when you're forecasting like that, you need to look at the players that, well, the strikers are obviously missing Rashid Khan and Siddle, as we've mentioned very clearly. But you look at the players that need to come back in for the other teams. And the Stars will, if Nathan Coulter-Nile, with his calf injury, he may be very close to coming back at that stage. Yep. So that's going to be a big in for them. There's no real others that are there. They do have Will Pekoski contracted, so potentially, but not a great deal of T20 experience, so you wouldn't put too much pressure on Will in that situation. You look at the Scorchers with who they have to come back in. They've got Cameron Green to fire back into that team, and we mentioned it in the pre-game just with the Sixers, who they have. They have the second leading wicket taker of all time in Sean Abbott to fire back into that, and also Moses Henriques. So 2 incredibly hungry players. Stark is also part of that Sixers lineup. I think it's unlikely that he'll play Big Bash, just given that he might need a break. His work toll in terms of the test matches has been very, very high. So we'll just have to wait and see.
The Adelaide Strikers, they're batting, just to finalise on that part of the analysis. How, in what ways and how did they get it wrong tonight? They had Alex Carey opening, normally such a composed figure out in the middle, but he went early for one. Phil Solders at times had a wretched season. At times he's actually played pretty well too. He's had a couple of counts of 50.
Yep.
But in between all that, he's had some very, very low scores. The middle order, Renshaw had 20, Wells had 18, and then the rest of it just collapsed after that. Where was it that went wrong? Was it their attitude? Was it how they were playing the spinners?
It's not the attitude. It's just the pace off. Good spin bowling on a big ground means that you can't really take it on. At the Adelaide Oval, they'll be down on one knee and really taking it on and clearing the rope square. On a big ground, it's very, very hard. And all the Stars spinners bowled an impeccable length. They were unable to be hit over their head for 4s or 6s to the shorter boundaries. They bowled a great length that made it really challenging like that. Credit to them all. Like the Stars have, this is a dominant display.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break here on Big Bash Nation. You are listening to the post-game here from the MCG. Jordan Canellis and Bryce McGain for McDonald's. The McRib and El Maco are back at Macca's this summer. We'll come back after this and do the awards on Big Bash Nation.
If you love racing, you'll love SEN Track. Start your day with us, Ian Healy and Pat Welsh, and catch up on all the latest in chasing, pacing and racing. Join us on SEN Track Ingham 96.1 FM, Atherton 99.1 FM, and the all-new Gold Coast 1620 AM, and Brisbane 1053 AM.
It's the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Join in all the fun on SEN Track.
SEN Track.
Also available on the SEN app.
Visit your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store for all your professional painting needs. With over 230 locations around Australia, you can be confident we have the right tools to help you get the job done. Our trade stores have all the commercial paint and accessories you'll need, as well as the best expert trade staff who are on hand to give great advice and quick service. When it comes to your next paint job, head to your local Dulux Trade Centre or Inspirations Paint Store.
Welcome back to Big Bash Nation. We are here at the MCG where it is showering down outside, and we did actually squeeze the full game in. It was a short full game, but it was the full game. The Melbourne Stars 2 for 179 batting first. The Adelaide Strikers won the toss and elected to bowl, and the Strikers fell short by a mere 111 runs. The third lowest score in Big Bash history in this game tonight. The Strikers all out for 68 in the run chase. This is the post-game show. The stats wrap for Dulux. Professional painters choose Dulux. The Melbourne Stars, as I said, 2 for 179. The highest run scorer, Andre Fletcher, who opened the batting, made 89 not out with 49 balls faced. He hit 8 fours and he hit 4 sixes. The other not out batsman was Hilton Cartwright on 30. Glenn Maxwell scored 37 after his wicket was taken by Cam Valenti, and earlier it was Marcus Stoinis who scored 13 off 26. His wicket taken by Danny Briggs. The Melbourne Stars travelled pretty slowly, actually, through the first half of their innings. They were at 57 runs at the halfway mark for the Bash Boost bonus point, which is normally below par from what we've seen in the Big Bash this season with all these new incentives and rules brought into place. 57 is a little bit below par, but after that they accelerated and scored 122 runs in their second half of their innings to get to 2 for 179, including some mammoth mammoth overs at the end of their innings. The last 4 overs, 18 runs, 15 runs, 18 runs, 16 runs. They absolutely scorched past the Adelaide Strikers. The Strikers, in comparison, lost 2 wickets in their power play. They were 2 for 15 at the end of their power play. They fell short at the Bash Boost bonus point, 3 for 49. So they fell short by 8 runs, and then 5 overs later, they were all out. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wickets that fell in the space of 6 overs, from overs 10 through to 15. That was the rest of the Adelaide Strikers' order, and they were all out for 68. Wicket takers for the Strikers, Briggs, this is back when the Stars were bowling, Briggs took 1, Valenti took 1. Highest run scorer for the Strikers, Matt Renshaw had 20, John O'Wells had 18, Jake Weatherald had 10. They were the only double-digit scorers. Wicket takers for the Melbourne Stars, Adam Zampa, 5 for 17 off 3.2 overs. Glenn Maxwell, 2 for 12 off 4 overs. Zahir Khan, 2 for 19 off 4 overs. And Billy Stanlake had 1 wicket for 10 off the 2 overs bowled. It was 111 runs, the victory for the Melbourne Stars tonight. That was the stats wrap, proudly brought to you by Dulux Trade Centres. It is makes for stark reading. It was very, very good from the Melbourne Stars batting performance. It's probably as good as they've almost had, really, when you think back through the season, not since the Sydney Sixers game where Maxwell and Pooran put on that huge partnership. As far as their batting goes, they've been a little bit at times from some of their star players, been a little bit lacklustre, particularly looking at Andre Fletcher, but 89 for him tonight. And then the other way, even better with the bowling attack. It was, as you said, Bryce, it was a perfect performance from the Melbourne Stars.
It was, and they really, really enjoyed it. They've got a great camaraderie, and you could see that. And you'd be excused for maybe accepting that they might be a little flat and untrusting, but it was Glenn Maxwell at the halfway point when Andre Fletcher came out after his brilliant 89, hit the last ball for 6, and he came out and he generally just hugged him on the boundary line. It wasn't just a 2-second pat him on the back. It was, hold on, I'm going to just really show you enormous support. So there's a lot of care within the group, and they look like they've really got a terrific vibe, a terrific culture, led by David Hussey, the coach, and also the players embracing exactly what they needed to do today. And they were emphatic today. It really was an impressive performance.
The play of the day for Drinkwise, enjoy the game Drinkwise. If there was a singular moment in the match that you just thought was great cricket, what was it?
Well, do you think it was Adam Zampa's over where he had 3 wickets? I think it might have been.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is. The play of the day is Adam Zampa's. It was over number 13. He picked up Weatherall, LBW, then Worrell was caught at cover, and then Briggs was LBW. What an amazing over. 3 wickets in the over, just 4 runs, and that really just broke the heart of the Adelaide Strikers, rather.
The player of the day for Drink Wise, you won't miss a moment if you drink wise. The rookie of the match for MEGT, supporting employers and apprentices for almost 40 years, who was the best young or new player in the game.
Well, that's Andre Fletcher. You can't deny that. He was man of the match. He's the rookie. He's whatever he wants to be. Get a wheelbarrow to pick up all the trophies, Andre, because the Spice Man has done the job. He was absolutely superb. 89 off 49.
Yep, the MEGT rookie of the match for MEGT. Earn while you learn with MEGT. The leading wicket taker for Henley be bowled over by value and choice. Well, these next two players were the stars of the match. Adam Zampa, the leading wicket taker, 5 for 17 off 3.2 overs with a bung shoulder on the non-bowling arm after he went ploughing into the rope on the boundary when he was saving it. He landed awkwardly on his elbow, which then jagged all the way up into his shoulder, the force of the impact when he fell to dive on the rope. Non-bowling arm, he came back, bowled and took, I think at that stage he already had one wicket, took 4 more wickets with a bung shoulder and was the leading wicket taker tonight.
Yeah, he was excellent and just showed his credentials. Incredibly highly skilled now and, he just tore through that middle and lower order of the strikers.
The leading run scorer for Henley be batting for home ownership since 1989. This one goes to Andre Fletcher by some distance as well. Next highest run scorer is Glenn Maxwell, 37, then Hilton Cartwright, 30 not out, and then Matt Renshaw, 20. But Andre Fletcher, we've already spoken about him, 89 runs, and that's hopefully for him and for the Melbourne Stars, that's a shackle-breaking innings for Andre Fletcher.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have lit him up and probably lights him up for the next 4 home and away games, if we can call them home and away. It's hub and away, I think it is at the moment with the Big Bash. But, and then clearly into finals. As we mentioned, the Stars have moved up to 4th now, so they are right in the mix.
The Macca's moment of the match, the McRib and El Macco are back at Macca's this summer. What was the biggest game-changing moment of the match?
Well, getting past that Zampa over might have been, the power surge that they took in the 17th over where Agar went for 18 and Worrell went for 15 off his overs and Cartwright and it was particularly in that case, it was Andre Fletcher, the Spice Man, who really just went bananas. There were 6s and 4s flying everywhere. They really took it to them. I think it might be that power surge. That was where the game was won. 33 runs in that power surge by the Stars at 16.5 per over. And it was just, that's where the game got blown away. And then they finished it off again for the 19th and 20th over as well.
I think it could almost be a culmination of 2 moments where it was the 2 power surges.
Yep.
Contrasting. Melbourne Stars, when they took their power surge batting first, 18 runs and 15 runs, 33 runs in those 2 overs. The Adelaide Strikers, when they took theirs, they were already 5 wickets down when they entered that over. But then in those overs, they lost 4 for 9. So the contrast of those 2 power surges just tell the story of the match.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Jordan.
The Macca's moment of the match, the McRib and El Macco are back at Macca's this summer. So the match is coming up in the Big Bash tomorrow and on Sunday. There's games across the weekend. You've got the Sydney Six against the Perth Scorchers tomorrow night, which Sam Hargraves will be calling, which will be a phenomenal match. The 2 probably informed teams of the competition right now. This will be a stellar match at it's going to be at Canberra. It's originally slated to be at the SCG, but Manuka Oval.
Yeah, and that is going to be a good one. And these are the 2 informed teams. The Sixers were able to put pay to the Thunder in their last game. Now they get to take on the white-hot Perth Scorchers at Manuka. So it's a small ground. It will be high-scoring. I think they'll get off the wicket. They played back-to-back games on that Manuka wicket, and it looked a bit tired the second time as the Renegades got done. The Brisbane Heat chased down their 150 there. So a fresh wicket, some fresh teams, and it's going to be a high-scoring one, I have no doubt, for tomorrow night.
And then on Sunday, the Melbourne Stars have to come back pretty quickly. They get a day off in between, but they take on the Melbourne Renegades back here at the MCG. So the first of the 2 Melbourne derbies coming up. This is on Sunday night here. John Donohoe on for his Big Bash League calling debut.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good luck to Donners on Sunday. The Melbourne Stars now, we've just seen what they did tonight. The Melbourne Renegades, not winning as many matches yet, but they've had some better results. They've might have tweaked their lineup into an area where they might be a little bit more comfortable now with Mackenzie Harvey, how he's batting, Jake Fraser-McGurk, how he's batting, Still not perfect at all by any means, Melbourne Renegades, but there's a little bit still to be gained for some of these youngsters in the back end of the season.
Yeah, there is. But Mouse on the SMS is a little concerned. He said, after this effort by the Stars, I am scared for my Gades on Sunday. So, yeah, I'm sure there's a few supporters of the red side of Melbourne that might be a little concerned.
Absolutely. We'll come back after this and we'll farewell things, Bryce, here on Big Bash Nation. Jordan Canellis and Bryce McGain at the MCG wrapping things up after this.
Hi, it's Doug the Tradie. If you're a tradie like me, you need the correct insurance. It's easy with IMAR. They offer competitive premiums, instant cover and no paperwork. Go online, get an instant quote and pay the premium or call an expert now on 13IMAR. You'll be covered in a few simple steps and ready to get on with the job. Visit imar.com.au today or call 13IMAR and get a quote, get covered, get working.
They're the tradies, mate. That's IMAR.
Real Adventures with Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Everything fishing, boating and outdoors.
I'm just astonished how many people are still using the wrong burley cages, Pat. You need to get your cages down to the bottom for the whiting. Look at the design of a whiting's face. They're shaped so their mouth turns in underneath their jaw and they feed hard on the bottom. So where are they going to be? They're going to be on the bottom.
Patrick Dangerfield and Aaron Hapgood. Subscribe and listen today wherever you get your podcasts.
If you love racing, you'll love SEN Track. Start your day with us, Ian Healy and Pat Welsh, and catch up on all the latest in chasing, pacing and racing. Join us on SEN Track Ingham 96.1 FM, Atherton 99.1 FM, and the all-new Gold Coast 16:20 AM, and Brisbane 10:53 AM.
It's the new sound of chasing, pacing and racing.
Join in all the fun on SEN Track.
SEN Track.
Also available on the SEN app.
Big Bash Nation, welcome back to the post-game for McDonald's. The McRib and El Maco are back at Macca's this summer, coming to a close here from the MCG. The Melbourne Stars, 2 for 179. They were sent into bat first. It worked wonders for them. Andre Fletcher, the man. Actually, I didn't get your man of the match. Who is the man of the match tonight, Bryce?
Yeah, clearly Andre Fletcher. That just set up the whole game for the Stars. Well batted.
And then a close second for Adam Zampa, surely.
It set it up with the bat. Adam Zampa really just wrapped up the tail. He brought out the broom and swept his way through.
Actually, yeah. How would you, if you were to give a 3-2-1, Fletcher 3, how would you split up the 2 and the 1?
I'd probably give them both to Zampa. Can I do that? Can I give him both the 2 and the 1?
Maxwell had 2 wickets. Zahir Khan had 2 wickets. So the spin bowling worked.
It did.
The Stars fans will be loving watching this on the MCG for the remaining matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Spin to win, and they're doing it so well. Mm-hmm. Well done to the Stars. They were really, really impressive.
Excellent. 111 run victors, the Melbourne Stars, and the Adelaide Strikers bowled out in the end in the rain that was just coming and then really poured after the match was finished. I think it's just eased off a little bit now, just a smidgen. But the Adelaide Strikers out for 68, which by my records here is the third lowest score in Big Bash history. The Strikers, it was a sour night for them. Stars winning by 111 runs, puts them into 4th on the ladder, so they jump up into the logjam again, along with the Perth Scorchers, the Heat and the Strikers, all on 20 points. That's it for things tonight, Bryce. Our Western Union expert, another fast delivery by Western Union. Send money overseas with our app. Thank you very much.
Great to be partnering up with you again, Jordan. Thanks to our own power surge in the back of the box here and all the team back in the studio as well for keeping things running nicely.
Absolutely. Surge up here in the box and Nigel back at HQ. Thank you all very much for your efforts tonight. Big Bash Nation for McDonald's. The McRib and El Maco are back at Macca's this summer. As we head out, though, we'll recap what's been happening at the Gabbert today. At Stumps on day number 1, Australia. Let me get my scorecard up. It's just gone off my screen. They were 5 for 274. 5 for 274. Cam Green on 28. Tim Payne on 38 will resume the batting from Brisbane tomorrow morning. You can hear it all on SEN Test Cricket. Matthew Wade had 45, Stephen Smith had 36, but the star of the day was Marnus Labuschagne, who scored 108 runs off 204 balls. He scored 9 boundaries in the process as well. Got off to a slowish start, but then really accelerated in his second 50 of his century. And he spoke to the team on SEN Test Cricket after the match. This is Marnus Labuschagne.
Yeah, Marnus, congratulations on a wonderful 100. How challenging was it to face this inexperienced Indian bowling attack, and particularly Washington Sundar?
Yeah, I think, the thing about when you're playing really good teams is that it doesn't matter who comes in. Everyone in that lineup is very disciplined. They understand their role. They're bowling. They're very skilled bowlers. So, it was a sort of matter of discipline early on, especially in that sort of first session and a half, making sure you get yourself in, you get the pace of the wicket so that you can really, cash in when the bowlers are a little bit tired and they're a bit cooked.
Dan Brady.
G'day, Marnus. Just a question about at this stage of a series, is it as much of a mental hurdle at times to keep the concentration and stay on the task as much as it is dealing with the actual bowlers?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think, currently, especially out there, it's the physical, the mental, and just trying to make sure you're staying on. Doesn't matter who's bowling at you, making sure you have 100% concentration. Especially out in Brisbane here, it gets very hot and humid. So, if you keep the bowlers out there, that it's really tough to keep backing up. But yeah, spot on. It's definitely a mental challenge at this time of the series and with the way things are.
And just obviously the ball when you were on 37 and Rahane dropped you, but also your dismissal, there just seemed to be a few balls that would kick up or do something you weren't expecting on that shorter length?
Yeah, I haven't looked too closely at probably both of those. I did feel like on 38 or 37, the ball did sort of just hold in the wicket and kick up a little bit. I do feel like the wicket is considerably drier than it would be normally. So I think, those things could add some value, especially, as we go into day 2, 3, 4, 5 to the back end. I haven't seen a Gabba wicket that's really, up and down, but, it showed some signs today of a bit of dryness.
Thank you.
Rob Forsyth.
Hey, Marnus, congrats on a ton. How do you see the game placed at this point? Are you guys happy to have that many runs on the board, or if you guys unhappy with the way they got out today?
Oh, look, all our batters are going to make their own assessment of the way they got out. They're all international players, and they get judged. Everyone gets judged harshly, but you're your harshest critic, and everyone will look at their dismissals and go, what could I have done better and what could I have done? So I think, I'm definitely disappointed not going on and getting a really big score, which would have put us in a better position as a team. So, for me, we still take the position we're in, 5 for 274. Really good performance. It was really nice to see Greenie and Tim finish it off there when we did lose 2 wickets in quick succession.
Andrew Ramsey.
Oh, hi, Marnus, and congrats. I'm just wondering if there's a couple of those bowlers that you probably saw a bit of during the ODI series, but when's the last time you sort of went into a match coming up against guys that you probably hadn't seen before, and did you have to formulate plans on the run, or had you seen enough of the vision of them beforehand to know what was coming?
No, definitely today I had to formulate some plans on the run and sort of keep understanding the situation, what they were doing. And I think that's the part of the game that is really enjoyable. You've got to read the situation out there. You can look at stuff on a screen and see how guys bowl, but, only out there with a feel of how you can do things and what you can do differently to make your life easier out there. So, yeah, definitely made some plans on the run today.
Raj.
Thanks, Cole. Hi, Marnus. Just something on a similar vein. How would you rate this 100 amongst all your centuries you've scored so far, especially given the bowling attack you were facing?
Look, any test century, it doesn't matter who it's against or against what opposition. You want to make sure you're scoring hundreds, and probably for me today, disappointing that I didn't end up making that a really big 100. But like I said before, Indian bowling attacks, they're very disciplined. Doesn't matter who's bowling. They're very planned. They're very strategic, and you saw that today with their bowling attack. They were very disciplined early and didn't give us many scoring opportunities in that first session.
If I could just ask one more. with this time you spent with Steve Smith in the middle, how was Steve coping? I mean, given all that, whatever happened last week or early this week.
Look, I don't think when he walks out on the field that stuff doesn't really concern him. He's focusing on the ball and scoring runs, and if anything, it just gives him extra motivation to put big runs on the board. Yeah, so I don't think that stuff comes into play when he's actually out there at all.
I think we've got one more here, guys. Rob Forsyth.
Marnus, you mentioned earlier doing the hard work and the bowlers would be a bit tired on. We saw Abdeep Sani go off for scans on his groin. How big a game changer could that be? What sort of difference would that make if they're a bowler down for the rest of the test?
Yeah, well, I mean, they probably played one extra bowler than they would usually, so I don't think it'd make a difference if we bat really big first innings and keep the bowlers out there. But, that usually now, teams shape up with 3 quicks and a spinner and they have sort of 6 out-and-out batters and a keeper. But obviously they went with the extra bowling option and, it probably paid off for them because obviously they lost Sani in the first sort of 10 overs or, around there.
One more, guys. Andrew Wu.
G'day, Marnus. Congratulations on your ton. Was it satisfying for you to, I suppose, let your bat do the talking after, I suppose, some of the unfair comments made about you in the last week?
Look, I for myself, my focus is always with the bat. Well, I know that I'm, sort of always buzzing around, always talking and keeping the energy up in the team, and that's one of the roles that I've taken on board. When we're out in the field, but my job when I got the bat is to score runs, and I've been slightly disappointed so far in the series that I haven't been able to get a big score, and it was nice to obviously get the 3 figures today, but still got to make sure that when you get yourself in like I did today, that you're cashing in really big.
You seem to get better every innings. You're sort of a player that likes a lot of work, I suppose. You're kind of disappointed there's not a 5th test. Yeah,
look, whenever you play India, you would like more tests and more tests against the best opposition. But, for me, I just got to make sure, really focus for the next innings and make sure that, I'm ready to get Australia in a position to win this test.
That was Marnus Labuschagne speaking in the post-match after his century on day number 1 from the Gabba Test, 108 for Marnus Labuschagne. Tim Payne is one of the not-out batsmen. He'll resume in the morning. He's on 38 not out. He'll partner Cam Green out in the middle. They had a nice little partnership in Sydney when Cam Green teed off in the second innings. Hopefully they'll do something similar, maybe a little less reckless, though, for Australia, setting up a big score. They are 5 for 274 at the end of day number 1. Tim Payne is out in the middle, as I said, at the moment. In the lead-up to this test match, a lot was spoken about Tim Payne and a bit of his leadership, his words into the stump mic, which was heard when he was chatting to Ravi Ashwin back at the SCG. Also, he addressed the issues around Steve Smith and his little incident of scuffing up the guard that the batsman had set in that innings as well. Tim Payne, the Australian captain, he joined Julian De Stoop and Bianca Chatfield on SEN Drive yesterday. Let's have a listen to the skipper, Tim Payne.
Well, less than 24 hours out from the 4th and deciding test at the Gabba. We've been lucky enough to be joined by Australian captain Tim Payne. Tim, thanks for your time. I guess given the frustration of the result in Sydney and a bit of the drama since, a short turnaround's not such a bad thing heading into this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only for me, I think for everyone to get back into it. Obviously we're disappointed with the finish, not getting the result we wanted, but felt we played some good cricket for the majority of the test match. So the shorter the turnaround, the better for us. We can pick up where we left off and hopefully take control of this test match nice and early and then drive it from there.
Tim, it's Bianca Chatfield here. I'm fascinated to know what the last couple of days have been like for you. I really loved how you just got in the front foot and came out and spoke about your thoughts on what happened. Is it an exhausting time for you, especially when there is such a short turnaround?
No, it hasn't been too bad, to be honest. I think, it's probably the first time something like that has happened to me, so I was probably a little bit taken aback at start, but I realised the job I'm in and the privilege that I have to be the Australian Test captain at times when you do the wrong thing, when we've set really high standards as a group, yet the scrutiny is going to come. And, I think you've just got to cop it on the chin and own up to, obviously there's things I would like to have done better. And if I get the opportunity again in this test, I will do. But, look, we're all human. We all make mistakes. As I said, copped it on the chin. And now just looking forward to getting back out there and taking them on again tomorrow at the Gabba.
Tim, given that the cultural change yourself and Justin Langer have really driven since you both came into the job, was it? And given that you've raised the bar pretty high, then it was inevitable there was going to be a slip up at some stage. Given that you have raised the standards pretty high. I mean, what happened the other day wasn't terrible, but it was going to happen at some stage.
Oh, well, you hope not, don't you? I mean, that's why we set high standards so it doesn't happen. But I think if you look at it from a positive point of view, the fact that, something that it was that is caused such a stir is a positive in the fact that we are now expected to hold high standards. I think if that happened a number of years ago, then it probably might not have been looked at twice. But the fact that we've held really high standards over the last 3 years now means, the people expect it of us, and that's a really good thing for us. So, for us to get back to that and to uphold our own standards is something that's really important to us.
And I promise that we won't keep delving into what has happened, and we will concentrate on what's about to happen. But we've heard that Ian Healy spoke about it to us yesterday about one of the values of the Australian cricket team is that elite honesty. And is this all part of it too, that you will front foot whatever happens and you will talk about it and you will own it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, again, that's part of it, isn't it? So I had a bit of time when I got back from the ground to sort of sit by myself, and I went and saw Justin Langer and our GM Ben Oliver and said that I was disappointed with the way I handled some things, and would like to get out and say that. At the time, I wasn't aware that what was coming, but look, as I said, it comes with the territory. When the Australian Test captain, we're held to a higher standard, and rightly so, and we fell below it. So. We pride ourselves on that, and as Ian said, that's part of it. We have to uphold that, and I know we let a few people down.
Speaking to Australian captain Tim Payne, I guess, Tim, as a wicketkeeper as well, you pride yourself on not missing chances. A few slipped through your fingers on the final day. Is that something you dwell on for too long? Do you move on from that pretty quickly?
Yeah, no, I'm not someone who dwells on it. I used to be when I was younger. That would certainly affect me a lot. But again, I think it's a little bit the same with what happened from a behavioural point of view. I think over my Test career, I've kept wicket kept at a very high standard. That's what I expected myself. But like anyone else, I'm a human, and I can make some mistakes and make some errors. So I've looked at them. I've sort of gone over and over it in my head and figured out what I think went wrong. And again, I think it's something I can fix quite simply. And again, I'm just looking forward to getting out there, getting a couple of catches at the Gabba and helping us win a Test match. But yeah, certainly I was disappointed with it at the time, but I'll move on really quickly. I've been playing this game long enough to know that mistakes and errors happen, and it's going to happen again. But I've just got to keep putting my best foot forward.
Absolutely. We know that the team has just been announced and Will Pucovski is not playing. How is he going with that? Because it was such a huge adrenaline rush for him, no doubt, making his debut, and then injury, unfortunately, gets in the way.
Yeah, well, we could probably ask him, actually. He's actually laying on my couch as we speak.
Oh, Will, jump on.
Yeah. No, look, he's all right. He's obviously disappointed. He's worked bloody hard to get to where he got to and to make his Test debut and this Test debut and to play for Australia is something he's dreamed of his life, and it's something he wants to do for a long time. So for him to have a little hiccup with his shoulder isn't ideal, but it's also not the end of the world. And as we've said many times, we know Will play a lot of Test cricket for Australia, and missing this Test at the end of the day, if that gets him right quicker, we've got a few big tours and some big Test matches coming up, and he's now becoming a very important part of our side. So we want to make sure he's right, fit to go, and ready to go for a long future for us as well.
Now, is he on the couch in your room? Because are you like nurse for him now, having to get up and get everything for him?
No, he certainly knows I won't be doing that for him. But again, I think he's spoken about it a bit. We tend to play a lot of FIFA against each other, and obviously today he's failed a fitness test, so he's a bit down. So what I normally do is invite him around see if he wants to have a coffee, and then I just let him win a few games and feel better about himself. So, it's all part of leadership.
Absolutely, it
That's
is.
fantastic leadership. I guess it's bad news for Will, but it's good news for Marcus Harris. How's Marcus's frame of mind been? Obviously, quite a few people thought he's a bit unlucky to be left out of that first Test match. He's been around the squad, and now he gets his opportunity.
Yeah, no, look, Harry's Harry. I don't know how you explain Harry. He's pretty chilled out. He's pretty laid back and not much bothers him. So he's been ready to go this whole series. He'll be ready to go tomorrow. The moments and Test cricket and big matches don't seem to faze him. He's pretty consistent in the way he goes about it. He scores runs pretty much wherever he's played. And, I know he's looking forward to the opportunity tomorrow. He's been training very hard while he's been in the hub. Obviously hasn't had much match practice, but he's not the sort of person that will affect. So we expect he'll come in and do a great job for us.
And there's been a lot of chat about hub life. How are you coping? We haven't heard much from the Australian team talking bad things about hub life, but how are you going with it?
No, it's fine. I've quite enjoyed it. I love sort of getting really immersed in the game and being around your teammates all the time. And, there's some difficulties to it, but it sort of is what it is. And this Brisbane part of it is, unfortunately, the last part and the hardest part where we're pretty much into quarantine. But the rest of the tour has been really good. We've moved around pretty much as we would like. I mean, we can't eat in at restaurants and stuff like that. Brisbane, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. As I said, you're pretty much stuck to your floor here. And you go to the Gabba and that's it. You're allowed 2 in a room. This is going to be different, bit of a challenge. But again, I think something that we're, as a team, trying to see as a positive if you can, or, something different that we'll probably never get to do. So I've said to a few of the young guys, there'll be, you look at this time now, it feels quite difficult, but there'll be a time where you're my age and you've got 2 kids at home that could be screaming around at your feet. Almost for me, this is like a holiday, so I'm loving it.
I was speaking to Australian captain Tim Payne. Have you had many chats to Steve Smith since the match, Tim? Obviously, Justin Langer made his feelings felt yesterday. We saw he's really fired up when he scored that 100 and then all the controversy over that incident in the last couple of days. How's he been since?
Yeah, he's good, mate. I said this morning in my press conference, Steve Smith, I think we've seen enough evidence to suggest over the last 70 Test matches that it won't affect the way he plays his cricket. If anything, he thrives on it when people are into him or he's got his back to the wall. He normally performs. It gets him into a real sweet spot, I suppose, with his concentration and stuff like that. And he's already a highly skilled, one of the best players in the world. But when he's got something sort of point to prove, he goes to another level. We've seen that time and time again. So we're glad it's been cleared up. But secretly, I'm kind of happy because I know that he's going to come out this week with a real point to prove. And if he gets in,